How good, everyone? How good? How good is this football club? How good are we? We're 13 top four finishes in the last 17 years. What more can you say? This club is incredible. Yes, we're coming off a pretty bad loss last week, but that's all forgotten about now. That's all in the past. The Cats are going to finish the home and away season in the top four, possibly top two. We're going to wait and see tomorrow's game. We'll see how we go with that. The Freo Port Adelaide game, and GWS has got to play as well. But things are looking good. We've done everything we can anyway. Maybe a couple of goals, not giving up there in that last quarter would have been ideal, but that's the way it is. But if this is your first time, welcome. This is Post Game Live. My name is Ben Reeve. It is a bit of a talkback type show if you haven't been on this one before. So I have posted the link for guests in the live chat on YouTube. So if you want to jump on, if you want to talk about how good the game was today, please click the link. I've got a couple of people already in the queue ready to go. But if you want to join in that conversation, by all means. Now, 100 games, 100 days. I will get you on very early tonight because I didn't get to you last time. So if you're there and listening, jump on now. All right, so let's have a look at the result before we get our first guests on. The Cats did the business. 26 goals, 12, 168 to the West Coast Eagles, 11 goals, 9, 75. There was a gentleman by the name of Jeremy Cameron who was quite big today, 9 goals, 1. We tried to get him that 10th goal, just couldn't make it happen in the end, but 9 goals, 1. You got to feel he's going to get maximum votes in this one. You have to feel that's a possibility. I tell you what, though, in the first quarter, I thought Ollie Henry was going to kick 10. He was on fire. He could have had 5 goals in the first quarter. Ended up with 4 goals, 4. He was a little bit wayward in the end there, but he was good. Shannon Neal did some good Shannon Neal things, did some bad Shannon Neal things, but he was overall pretty handy, and that forward line looks amazing with him in it. So, we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks with that. But Max Holmes, 26 touches, Paddy with 25, and Zach Guthrie, 24 in his 100th game. Congratulations, Zach Guthrie. On the other side, Jake Waterman, future Cat, 2 goals, 2. Harley Reid, future Cat, 2 goals, none. And Jack Darling, a couple of goals for him as well. And Tim Kelly, former Cat, former Cats or future Cats, 25 touches, 24 to Hutchinson and 21 to Elliot Yeo. All right, let's see who we've got in the chat. As I said, I can see you there, 100 games, 100 days. Make sure you jump in. Can't wait. Amy, hello. Either moment, I can see you there as well. Ethan, you're in the chat. Henry V, very good. Hello, Henry. Factual Opinion, g'day. Jezelenko. Who else? Apologies if I've missed anyone. Say hi if you're watching and you haven't said hi. But let's get on Ethan, all the way from over in the States. Let's hear what he's got to say about that result today.
Unlike normal times, I'm going to keep things pretty short, pretty simple. Thought we were just, great first half. You could fret a little bit and, play the what if we did this and that for percentage in the second half. But I thought overall just rock solid. And, I think the focus in the second half probably did shift more to preserving health than necessarily scrapping for every last percentage point, especially when Port and GWS, all they have to do is win to surpass us. I like our chances of moving up a spot and at least getting to third. But whatever happens, happens. If you don't like where you are percentage-wise, well, then should have gone out and, could have beaten the Power Giants head-to-head or could have beaten the Saints last week. So, I'm not going to fret too much over that. I think when we're at our best, it won't matter what spot we are. And if we're at our worst, it also won't matter. And I think today we saw more of our best. Obviously, Jez was fantastic, but a few other guys, I thought Tanner Bruin was rock solid. Dangerfield only got better as the game went on, which has kind of been a thing he's done this year, which is awesome because he's a guy that in the past, has caught a lot from opposing fans for, being quiet, especially in fourth quarters. So for him to kind of turn that around this year has been neat. I thought this was like the best version of Mark Blitzovs. I thought he ran with Reed pretty well, and just if we get that version of Mark Blitzovs, I think we're really dangerous. We saw that in 22. Reece Stanley, who was legitimately unplayable about 3 months ago, is Bailey Williams a premier opponent? No. But 3 months ago, Reece Stanley would have gotten crushed by him too. And he dominated in the middle today and has put himself to the point where, if Sam DeConing's healthy, we'll have some tough decisions to make, and that's a good problem to have. Max Holmes, though, I think was the best thing today. This is the first time since probably before the bye that I've been this excited about a Max Holmes performance. And I don't know if he'd even be in my votes because we had a lot of different contenders. But this was the version of him that we had in the first couple months. He was much cleaner, not turning the ball over. I think he had 3 assists.
Yeah,
So
that sounds right.
he was clicking. Really good game from Jack Bowes, over 90% efficiency. Really, the only negative today was probably the way Mitch Duncan played. He had a bit of a rough one, but you can afford that. Rather him do it now than in a couple weeks. So overall, just handled business against a depleted team. With McGovern, that's a totally different defense, and we did a great job exploiting his absence. I did love the friendly back and forth between Cameron and Edwards. Or if one of them made a good play the other game and he acknowledged it after. It was neat. And highlight of the day, aside from all the post game stuff, was Jez celebrating Neil's mark, except it hit the ground, and then he ends up kicking to Henry, and Henry marks, and then he celebrates. That was really fun. So this was what you wanted out of today. Would you have loved to not allow a couple of those goals in the second half? Sure, but I'm not going to fret over that. The 4 points that we could have picked up in other spots, if you're not happy with where we are in a couple of weeks, we have plenty of things we can point to besides we took it a little light in the second half to make sure we're fresh for finals.
It felt like that, didn't it? It just got to win this by 100. We're already 100 up at halftime. My daughter, who sat next to me today, is like, Dad, has that team ever won by 200? And I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen. But we did beat Richmond a while back by 150 something, and then Melbourne by 170 killed the coach.
Brisbane back in the 90s. I think that tops them all. It was 230 something to 70 something in the 170 range.
Yeah. But it was really good in that first quarter. I couldn't believe how it was at the game today. It was a sunny day. I mean, it would have looked glorious on TV. Maybe the second half, half the ground and shut in, not so great. But it was just absolutely popping. The crowd, I think there might have been maybe 1,000 spare seats. So it would have been high 30s, the crowd. So the energy was there. There was a lot of love going around that place today. A lot of love for Tui. That's probably, you talked about your highlight being the Jezza celebration. For me, it was Tui. There was multiple highlights. It was every single time Tui touched the ball, the crowd, they went insane. It was, it warmed my heart. It was fantastic.
I'm so glad that he's making the call to go out on his own terms now, because there are signs that he's getting towards the end of his career, and I would much rather, as well-liked of a player in person as he is, I'm glad that he's doing it like this instead of trying to squeeze out one more year and, have a couple down games and then get omitted or something. So this, that he's doing things much more on his terms, I think is the right way to go out, especially for someone that we're all going to have positive memories of. I wouldn't want a down final season to tarnish that at all. So I'm glad that he's made that call and that today was in a lot of ways his day.
It was, wasn't it? It was Zach Guthrie's day, 100 games for Zach Guthrie. A little clap for Zach. And Reece Stanley, the man who over many, many years has been the whipping boy at the Cats. There's not many players that have played 150 games for this football club. It feels like that, but there really isn't that many players that play that many games for the club. Crossing over from 2 clubs, he's had to fight tooth and nail for every game he's played at this level. And he could be looking at another preliminary final, maybe another grand final, maybe another premiership. We could be calling Reece Stanley a 2-time premiership ruckman. Yes, my name is Ben Reeve. I do get carried away. If you haven't seen the show before, you'll know that already. But seriously, he could be a 2-time premiership ruckman in the next 5 weeks. It's a possibility. But I'm just so happy for him. I'm happy for them all. It was just a really good feeling today, Ethan, at the ground. I hope it came through on the TV the same way.
It felt like, just from getting the first couple of goals and just getting on a roll, it just felt, not a lot of pressure, just mostly happy, positive, and, as intensive and stressful as the coming weeks, next month will be, it's really nice to be able to have that. And close the home and away season on such a fun note.
It was great. Do you think we are going to play Sydney? Do you think we'll end up being fourth position, or do you feel like we're going to sneak into third or second? Where do you see the rest of this weekend playing out?
I get the feeling I do have GWS beating the Dogs tomorrow. I think lousy weather in Ballarat, the Bulldogs have never done well with that. And then I do think the Dockers are going to win. I can't see them losing, what would it be, 4 straight to close the year. That seems highly unlikely. I mean, my favorite scenario would be one where the Bulldogs win, the Saints beat up on the Blues, and the Dockers win, and win by, 20-something to give us a shot to move into second. But I think we're probably going to end up in fourth with GWS 2, Port 3. And, Sydney, I think, would still have to be the favorite. And I kind of love the idea of going right in there and getting after it against them.
You'd have to think Sydney are the favourite just because of their ladder position, that they're going to get a home final. And if they win that first one, it's not a preliminary finals aren't a gift. They don't just let you win them. It's still every final's tough to win, but goodness me, is the road home or road to that grand final a hell of a lot easier by being first or second than it is being third, fourth, or fifth or sixth, or 7 and 8. Don't even bother. Don't even talk to me if you're finishing the ladder in 7th or 8th position. It's not happening. You might make a prelim, you might sneak a prelim, but you're not making the grand final. People, if there's any Bulldog supporters out there, come at me if you want. I know you won one 9 years ago or 8 years ago, but it's not happening again. Mate, before we have to talk about some injuries though, and we'll keep this show really positive and light, but there were a couple of concerns that came out of today. Are you worried about Tom Stewart, and what about Lawson Humphreys? Should we be worried about those two?
I would give Stewart, how concerned I am, a 3 out of 10, and Humphreys probably a 1 or 2. Knowing that we've got, minimum 12 days to get him right, and seeing just the way they were moving around post-game and smiling, saying that Humphreys, was up, in the huddle at 3/4 time. It looked like the sort of thing that in, a tight game, they would probably try to push through. So I'm not tremendously concerned. If I had to bet on it, I would expect both of them to play the next time we're out there. I wouldn't guarantee it, knowing that we've taken conservative approaches with these sorts of things, but I would say more likely than not that both will be playing in 2 weeks' time.
Let's hope so. I'm not sure who we got to come back in. Clearly, Tom Hawkins will be in the conversation. I'm told, if you can rely on social media, but social media reliably informed me that he's eligible to play in the VFL competition next week when the AFL side has a bye. And that may be because he hasn't played enough AFL games to disqualify him from eligibility. So do you think if he's fit, do you think the Cats will roll the dice and maybe play half or 3/4 in the VFL just to see whether his body holds up? Or do you think they're just going to save him for that first final or second final potentially? But potentially, if we get really lucky or play really well in that first final, we may even be in a prelim in 4 weeks' time. If I've done my maths right there. Maybe I haven't. Apologies to any maths teachers out there. Paul James, looking at you.
I mean, Ollie Henry really has made a case to stay in today after, last week was catching some heat, and I think deservedly so. I would love to see some more of these performances from Henry in games where things aren't going as well all around him, but I liked what he did. So it's tough. I don't know how you work Gary Rowan back in, which is crazy to think. I mean, I remember asking heading into the qualifying final, why is he in there? And then he goes, kicks 2-3 goals, and we don't win without him. So I guess even though we've had some weird decisions at times there, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I think it will be really hard to take Shannon Neal out right now. I love that today Jason Dunstall noticed how fast Neal is, because that's something that we've noticed, and I guess it's just, you're not seeing it every week like we are watching every game. But I'm glad that he got I'm glad that he got to see that and point it out to a TV audience. Because like Shannon Neal is not just your typical tall forward. Like he's got some ground level ability. I like our forward line the way it is. Just a question of, which out of, I guess, the 3 or 4 guys going for 1 or 2 spots between Henry, Neal, Rowan, and if he's available, Hawkins. That'll be a tough decision to make. But just
what would you do if you're the coach? I mean, thankfully we don't have to make these tough decisions, but there's people that we trust at this football club, and we do trust them. And yes, we scratch our heads sometimes and wonder why they've done certain things, but end of the day, the 13 top 4 finishes in the last 17 years, the coaches know what they're doing. And it's credit to Mark Bowman-Thompson as well. He was part of that, but Chris Scott for the most part of that period. They know what they're doing. I'll ask you again in a second, but if you're asking me, I'm sticking with Shannon Neal. I'm sticking with not him because he's a better player than Tom Hawkins. He's not. 100% he's not. Full stop on that. But I just think the forward line, the forward structure just works so much better with him. I've said it before, but I watched it again today live, and I'm like, oh, this just works so much better. The smalls just operate better around him. He's just it's clicked with Shannon Neal in the second half of the year as well. He doesn't have to clunk everything. He just has to compete and bring it to ground. Be nice if he clunked a chest mark 30 meters out. That'd be great. But at this, what do you think though? Are they going to bring Hawkins in? Are they going to say, no, Tommy, you've done it for us for 18 years. Do it one more time, Tom. Or are they going to stick with what's worked in the last 2 months?
I think you kind of have to leave it up to Hawkins in a way. I mean, he seemed, just listening to him when he was interviewed today, he seemed pretty at peace with everything.
He does, doesn't he?
I mean, the tougher question is like, that a couple of guys are going to have to make way. Because I think the first obvious one would be like Jed Buse, who, by no fault of his own, would probably come out for Sam DeConing. But then it's like, where else can you even make a move right now? Sean Mann has made himself clearly a part of this. It's like, who can you take out to get another forward in? Especially after, I don't think Ollie Henry would be. I mean, the only move I could see would be probably Rowan in for Henry. I think I would roll with it. Or, God, I don't know. Maybe
he could have had 5 or 6 goals today, though. If he kicked a little bit straighter, and Rowan just looked like his head wasn't in the game last week. I'm not surprised he didn't play this week.
Ollie 4-4, 8 marks, 13 disposals. I think, the thing that really adds an obstacle to this is knowing that now there's a very compelling case to keep Reece Stanley in. Because, again, I only see Buse as like the one logical out. So it's tough. But like maybe it's a decision I'm glad I don't have to make. But I still wonder if Ollie Henry would be the expendable one, because there have been some games where he's been very, very quiet. Whereas Neal, I think, has elevated his game to the point where even on his quieter days, I still really like what he puts out there. I'm going to just advocate for Shannon Neal. And yeah, you can tell the way just things are more fluid and less rigid, like you were saying. The small forwards definitely play off of him. That's a guy where, he drops a mark or at least just prevents an intercept. Someone is going to get there and pick it up, and we've got a chance out of it. Like, I hate to bring this team up, but Hawthorne kind of gets some of the same stuff out of Cal Sherdeer, where it's like, he doesn't take that many marks, but he's preventing the intercept mark, and one of the smalls is always there to crumb off of it.
That's right. The only argument, there's many arguments you can make for Tom Hawkins being back in the side. I won't make this a show about Tom Hawkins, but is that oppositions may have had a good look at Geelong over the last 8 weeks, and they may be coming up with a plan. Whereas you throw Tom Hawkins back in, and it just changes everything all over again. So Geelong becomes a little bit more unpredictable. In saying that, I still think go with what's been working in the last couple of months. Yeah, we had a shocker against the Saints for a half, and the Bulldogs game.
I wouldn't even put really either of those on the forwards much. I mean, with the Saints, it was the delivery and testing Cal Wilkie so many times, and the Bulldogs, that was just a bad game all around. That was hard to pick. I mean, we had some set shot issues there, but unless you really think like the difference in set shot kicking is what's going to win or lose you a game, I think you stick with what we got.
Shannon Neal didn't even play in the Bulldog game either, so we can't hold that against him. So he's really been involved in one game where, as you said, the delivery inside 50 was in that second half, especially was pretty horrible. And he might have done a little bit better otherwise, but yeah. Anyway, look, give me a 3-2-1 before I let you go, because I know you want to catch up on a few of the other games that are starting pretty soon, or if they've already started. Who is your 3-2-1? I already know who your 3 is. Let's not even go there. Well, you can if you want to give him some love. But who else did you like?
I mean, Cameron's the obvious 3. The one he kicked from the left side with his left was just ridiculous. The first one was nice, but on the left with his left, like that should not be possible. Should not be a kick anyone should be able to make. 2, I think I'm going to go Dangerfield. And 1, even though his disposal count wasn't all that high, I think he finished with how many here? 23, but 6 clearances. Tanner Bruhn. Honorable mentions to Sean Manna, Jack Bowes, Ollie Henry, and Max Holmes. A lot of good candidates. I think you could see past Cameron being the top guy. You could see all sorts of different votes.
Yeah, I reckon that I love these games where you could easily see a few different votes. I'm really interested in who's going to get the second, the 2 and the 1 votes, especially because we've got the Hoopies Awards night coming up soon, and there's about 5 players that are really neck and neck at the moment. I think Jezza, that game's probably going to help him a lot. But who's going to get the second most votes? And we'll still have at least 2 games to come this year, which is exciting. Hopefully 3 or 4. Well, hopefully 3 more, possibly 4 more anyway.
Hopefully 3, but it's whenever they bring out the coaches' votes for these final 2 rounds. I think this will be a fun one to look at, because it could be one of those games where you have Jez gets the perfect 10, and then from there it's kind of a zoo.
Yeah, definitely. Well, are you going to watch a replay of this game, or have you just got too much on the go over the week? Because you watch every game. For people that don't know, Ethan tries to catch every game he can.
Yeah,
I'll be having this one on replay tomorrow morning with a cup of coffee. Definitely.
I'm going to try to get through the rest of today's slate. I'm going to be in charge of the Sydney-Adelaide game, which Swans are resting Heaney, so that could be interesting. Also, just the whole Rochelle thing is interesting. And that whole scene, by the way, is one thing that makes me really thankful for having such a functioning club. Like, at a less organized club, at a place that isn't so well run, something like, Tyson Stengold's incident when he went out a few weeks ago would have been like, people would have been making stupid comments about it, and it would have gone on for weeks, Instead, kept it in-house, got it dealt with, and that's one of the reasons that we're a functional club, whereas Adelaide has this go on. And then you have Laird and Dawson, 2 of their top guys, throwing Rochelle under the bus. So, it's just, you see the difference between successful clubs and less successful clubs. And you see why some teams are there more often than others.
Speaking of successful clubs, a comment in the chat from Either Moment. Ask Ethan who's going to win the NFC North this year. That'll be let us know, and then I'll get Kyri on and see what he's got to say about the game.
2-horse race between the Packers and Lions. I think when it comes down to it, I think I'll lean the Packers just because the Lions have a slightly tougher schedule, having been the division champ. Yeah, it's definitely the Packers and Lions at the top. It's going to be tight. I guess I'll go with the Packers by the slimmest of margins.
I love the Packers. My favorite team. Not that I follow it a lot, but
I got a lot of Packers fans.
I love the Packers.
Parallels between them and the Cats, actually.
I think a G in the title. There you go. Green Bay. That's good enough. That was always good enough for me.
Down
and I like the Sonics, and they have similar colors to the Sonics for those that remember the Seattle Sonics.
Yeah. But, down the highway from the major city. Like, Green Bay is not a big city. Green Bay is actually quite small. Milwaukee's a big city. Green Bay is not.
No, good stuff. Now, quick, before I always forget to do this, please give a shout out for your own show, please,
yes.
on the podcast, if anyone wants to say your YouTube show.
Yeah, Americans Watching the Footy. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube. We're on Twitter at Americans Footy. And one of the reasons I got to watch these other games is because in a couple days we'll be recording America's Brownlow Night. We're going to be doing our own because we think we can probably do a better job than some of the umpires on the votes.
I think you probably can.
I think it's kind of universally known that, like, the coaches' votes are the ones that are, more accurate. The Brownlow has a lot of prestige and it's fun, but we'll be recording that. And then I think the plan is going to be to release it the night after the actual Brownlow night. So it'll be fun to see where our votes stack up versus the official ones.
All right. Don't forget to, if you get a chance, share the link to your socials and your in the show podcast in the chat, and make sure you check it out, everyone, because it's really, really entertaining. Thanks for jumping on.
Go, see if I can get you the link tree or something here real quick. Yeah, I'll throw that in the YouTube comments. Thanks a lot. Let's go watch a couple games, and hopefully, again, best case scenario, go Dogs, go Saints, and go Frio.
Sounds good to me. Enjoy. Take care, mate.
See ya. Thanks again.
See ya. All right. A little bit of love for the chat here. Who we got? Strider Knight. Would have been great with 10 goals, but 9 still fantastic. Yeah, Jezzy's so close. So close there. 100 games, 100 days. Would really like to see us play the Swans, to be honest. If we can't finish second, I don't know. I think I agree. I think I'd rather play the Swans than Port. Port scares me in finals. They're a different team in finals. I'm not interested in seeing them at all. Jackie says, Amy, no Lawson, no Geelong. Yeah, we need Lawson Humphries. He's our most skillful player, probably. Maybe you don't agree, but he's an absolute star. Amy says, having both Stewart and Humphries out didn't help his second half. 100%. Two defenders out. We got opened up a little bit there. Better to avoid injuries or suspension from tackles, etc., than the extra percentage points. And that's probably the way they went into it, didn't they, in the end? Who else we got here? Jazz Boy. Scotty needs to still try some young ruckman. Unfortunately, Jazz Boy, they're all injured at the moment. Toby Conway and Mitch Edwards, the two youngest ruckmen, no good at the moment. Maybe there's another young ruckman out there that wants to come play at the Cattery potentially. That's you never know. It might happen. Those scenes after the game, sorry, Jez Linko, the scenes after the game were so wholesome and sum up our team to a T. Wasn't it great? Wasn't it fantastic? I absolutely love seeing that. It was terrific. Just the fans, the love that they had for Tom Hawkins and Zach Tui, and you could tell that they really touched them. They really felt that. So good on you if anyone at the game today showing a bit of love. All right, let's get Kyri on all the way from South Australia. We haven't had a Victorian on here yet, but we're getting all the overseas and interstate people on first. Here he is. G'day.
Good evening, Ben. What a week. Could make a difference. We were bloody whinging and moaning about last week, but yeah, just on absolute cloud nine after this win. I'll be honest, Ben. I was just kicking back on the couch from start to finish. Just an absolute clinic. Even in the second half, West Coast was showing more fighting spirit. We just never in doubt. And it was great. It was great to cap off on a great and home and away season, and great for Tom Hawkins, for Zach Tui, to give him the send off they absolutely deserve at GMHBA. And we're back in the finals, mate. The 12-month rebuild. We're here. We're back.
As a good friend, Jake from the Chap says, the cliff is a myth. Please don't steal our T-shirt idea. We'll have to get some T-shirts done, maybe in time for round one. If we win the grand final, we'll get some T-shirts. We might open up the Hoops Crew shop and we'll start selling some T-shirts. We've got a couple of ideas going there. This team's incredible, mate. How do they do it year after year? What is it? Who is responsible? Is it one person? Is it a couple of people? how did this happen? I still feel like it happened. Joel Selwood probably plays a massive part in that, and a couple of other key people who some of our younger audience may not remember, Frank Costa and Brian Cook and even Bomber Thompson and Tom Harley around that sort of early period. But it's just carried on, and we're in 2024, and we're looking at another qualifying final, guaranteed semi-final, or, if things go even better, first week, second week, another prelim. We've got Bailey Smith coming through the door in about 3 months' time. This is just, I cannot believe it. I cannot believe this football club and what we continue to do year after year.
It's brilliant. It's just brilliant to be, nearly 20 years in the competition, backing ourselves nearly every year, trying to win the premiership. And I said to you at the beginning of the year, maybe we're not top four material, but it's just something about Geelong. It's just about the culture, and it's more than the players, more than the coaches. It's the supporters as well. Just the Geelong community here in Geelong and interstate, overseas as well. Just forever grateful. And that performance today showed, why we are Geelong, and why we're the greatest team of all. They're just brilliant. And Jeremy Cameron, he was awesome. 9 goals. I wish he had 10, but you can't be greedy. I thought he was brilliant. Paddy Dangerfield as well. Jack Bowes, Ollie Henry, I thought was good too. He was competing. Dempsey, Holmes, Guthrie. Everyone played their part. I don't think I could spot any negative aspect of any of the players in that game. You could probably argue about that second half where we probably put the foot off the gas a little, but you should. But I had thought surely with West Coast, you think they'd probably turn it around with a bit of that. And full credit to them, I thought they were pretty good in the second half. But I thought we made the right call with Tom Stewart and Lawson Humphreys as well. And we were playing with a man short. We can't forget about that too. And how we managed that was really good as well. And honestly, I'd rather us play like that now than in the finals.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for pointing out we were playing with a man short. We brought Jed Buse on. I feel like it was towards the end of the third quarter. I could be slightly wrong on that. I don't think we made the call.
Beginning of the third quarter, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, it was right up to half time. I saw Stewart on the bench, but he was given a thumbs up and all of that. But he also, like Lawson Humphreys, like what Ethan said as well at the end of the game, he was smiling. He was able to walk around as well. And it reminds me of like the Gold Coast game in 2022. We took Jezza off for a precaution because he had a hamstring awareness, but he looked all right. We got the 12-day break now, and I think we'll be all right. They looked okay. And yeah, as I said again, I'm glad this is happening now than in the finals.
Yeah, you said 12-day break. That's assuming. I mean, they usually play a Thursday game, don't they? In the first week of the finals, because they like to play a Thursday night, a Friday night, a Saturday. Do they play a Sunday game? I'm not sure if they still do Sunday games.
I don't think so, but should we play Sydney in the first quarterfinal, probably be a Thursday night. Then you have one of the elimination finals on a Friday night. Then the Saturday, the other 2 games. So yeah, no Sunday games in the first week. I think Sunday footy's all out now.
I reckon we should start a GoFundMe so we can get Bianca and Declan to the SCG. On the Thursday.
100%. 100%.
We should get Bianca to the footy. I've got her queued up next, ready to go. But no, it'd be great if we could. What I want to see in the first week of the finals, mate, and if we don't finish second, then there's not a lot of expectation as far as I'm concerned. Be nice to play well, but if we do somehow if the stars align. Freo does the job on Port, and GWS doesn't like playing at Ballarat, and Bulldogs get over the top. I mean, if all those results go the way they should, I tell you what, if Freo win by like 21 points and it's just not quite enough percentage wise for us to leapfrog Port Adelaide. That'll be a bit frustrating.
It'd
but
be
what I'd like
an
to see,
absolute dream. Yeah,
be a dream. What I'd like to see is a really, really strong performance from the Cats that will give us a bit of hope going into either a semi-final or a prelim. If we're really, really good, we'll take the win. I'm still sitting here right now. I'm absolutely over the moon with the result today. But realistically, I'm still feeling like we'll finish third or fourth. And I'm just really hoping that we'll give it our best shot. Hopefully, it's going to be some tough decisions at the selection table. Hopefully, we make the right ones. What are you thinking? Take me ahead 2 weeks from now. Where's your head at with that? Have you gone there yet? Are you still in the moment with this West Coast win, or where are you at right now?
I mean, I just think whatever decision, whatever happens. I'll 100% back in the club. We were a side that was predicted not to make the finals at all this year, and they've exceeded my expectations. They exceeded a lot of other people's expectations as well. If we go out in straight sets, worst case scenario, who cares, man? We made the finals. We've got a great list, a changing of the guard as well to compete. The future is just absolutely bright. I'd love to see the Catters make a prelim final. That's where I realistically probably see them. But if we go out in straight sets, I'm not going to lose sleep, to be honest, because I know we have the right tools to compete again and again, because I know it's the Geelong way. We are so fortunate, Ben. We really, really are. We just got to thank every single day, mate. But whatever happens, I'm proud of this club either way.
I think if you look at the season as a whole, and I'm very proud of the way the Cats played today, but I just can't stop and think of this season AFL 2024. I'm not sure how many wins we ended up getting, but to finish in the top four when pretty much every single person, and yes, I'm talking about you, every single person, not you, Kyri, but everyone had the Cats. Everyone had the Cats missing the top 8. Most people had the Cats finishing around 12th or 13th. Some might have had them around 10th or 11th or something like that. No one had us anywhere near the top 8, let alone top 4, let alone top 2. And that's really why I want to finish top 2, to give the big middle finger to the whole AFL world, supporters, media, everyone. Yeah. You dare write Geelong. We talk about this every preseason. Never write Geelong off. But everyone wants to be Nostradamus and predict the downfall of the Cats. Here we are.
David King, all those other people. You know who you are. Keep writing us off. He's been writing us off since bloody 2010.
Yeah. And they'll be the first people to say, "Oh, Geelong failed in another final series." Yeah, but you didn't even have us there, did you? I tell you what. There's a bloke from the Chaps, Johnny, who predicted Geelong would finish third. Now, I reckon he's probably the one that's going to be right. I think almost everyone else had us finishing fourth. I think Paul might have had him finishing fourth as well. I'll go back to the videotape and check that, but I did write it down somewhere actually. But I think us all had Geelong finishing fourth, which is crazy, really, that we all pretty much agreed within a ladder position or two, and that it's actually probably panned out that way. So unless somehow we finish second and then we're all wrong, then we didn't rate the Cats highly enough. All right,
that's
so
the beauty. That's just the beauty about this season. It's just been all unpredictable. Like we thought Sydney would run away with it with the premiership, and then they had their bit of a slump. We thought Carlton would be in the grand final as well. Then now their season's hanging by a thread. Hawthorn, their start now they're in the finals. It's just been an absolute roller coaster, and who knows? Who knows who's going to be the premier in 5 weeks' time?
It's crazy to think there's a chance we finish second after having 8 losses. But that just goes to say how.
Yeah.
This season has been terrific. The evenness of it. Paul James put out a video. Oh, it would have been a few weeks back now, asking the question: Is the Premier going to be the best? Is because it's so even? Winning it, does it mean more, or is it everyone's crap? It doesn't mean anything. Everyone's going to laugh at you in a couple of years' time. I don't know. Every week I chop and change my mind on this one, but Paul, if you can link that in the notes or the chat somewhere, that video, that'd be great. But I reckon I don't know how other people feel about that, but I mean, like, you take a premiership every day of the week, don't you?
Absolutely.
But I don't know. How will you look at this one? If we can somehow find a way, I think we've got to win that first final. I think most people would agree. You win that first final, especially because of the top four teams are predominantly interstate sides. You can't afford to be playing two interstate, playing a qualifying final like interstate and then a prelim interstate and hoping to win. Especially the prelim. It's going to be really, really tough. And where do you see it though?
I think I see ourselves in another prelim. As I said earlier, whoever we face, we have shown that our best football is our best. We can beat any side, and whoever that will be, whether it will be Sydney, whether it be Port Adelaide, GWS. I think I see ourselves in a prelim for sure.
Can you see a scenario? And I want to run a few scenarios past you, if that's okay. If you'll indulge me a little bit, Kyri.
Sure.
I'll start with the big one, though. Can you see a scenario where the Cats play the Hawthorn Football Club in the grand final? Can you see that happening?
I could.
Did you answer the Twitter poll the other day about would you want to see that happen, or would you?
I did actually, and at the time I said, hell no, fuck no. But you know what? Nothing will make me happier by building the crap out of them and shutting the haters up, and saying, we don't beat Hawthorn when it matters, and stuff like that. That will just. Wouldn't that be an absolute hoot, Ben? And, in a few years' time, we beat Richmond in a grand final a few years down the track as well. But yeah, Hawthorn, oh, gee, that'd be an absolute hoot, won't it? Oh, far out. That'd be awesome.
I reckon for me, if it's not Hawthorn, the team I'd love to beat, if I can't beat Hawthorn, I'd love to beat Carlton. I still feel robbed from 1995 where they paid their players with brown paper bags and filled with some other bits of paper.
That was our flag, man. We were robbed.
That was our flag.
Robbed of a premiership, man. Like,
Billy
they
Brown, were pretty good on the day, though.
Guys. Oh, nah.
I'd love to beat them.
That'd be brilliant. Oh,
I'd love to beat them.
Yeah, 100% as well. Let's take it back. Let's take it back.
For shits and giggles, I'd love to beat Sydney by another 10 goals, and I'd love to come up against Port again and smash them by another 100. And maybe we do 120 points this time.
Ooh,
we put to bed the 119. We put that to bed. We don't talk about 119. We talk about 136 or 145 from now on. I reckon that'll be fun.
Tell you what, the only opponent I fear the most, honestly, Ben, is Port Adelaide in the finals. Me being based here in South Australia, I still have PTSD from the two qualifying finals. We played Port over there. I went to both of them. Horrible experiences, mate. And gee whiz. But they're flying at the moment as well. But Port Adelaide. But any of the other clubs, bring it on. Bring it on.
What's the vibe in Adelaide at the moment with Port Adelaide? Are they up and about? Are they nervous? Are they sensing as an opportunity?
No, they're definitely up and about. Obviously with a showdown and all that sort of stuff. The media here in South Australia, with the Adelaide Crows, it's just been an absolute circus at the moment. Josh Rochelle was dropped. He's not playing. He's not playing the game tonight. He played Sandful, but yeah, well, their season's over. They're just But what with Port Adelaide, gee whiz, the fans they're up and about. I haven't heard of Ken Hinkley out in God knows how long now. That could change. That could change in a few weeks' time. But gee whiz, they're out and about. That's for sure. But I'll tell you what. If not for Geelong, I wouldn't mind Port Adelaide winning the premiership. I'd love to see Ken Hinkley a premiership coach, man. And also like Savaretta Galea, Francis Evans, Quinton Narkle. They've got the Geelong twos essentially in that side. But I'd love to see Ken Hinkley win it because Ken Hinkley's tenure at Port at the moment, it's like when we had Chris Scott from 2012 to 2021, where we had a few critics saying, "Oh, Chris Scott out." If Ken Hinkley wins a flag with Port, and that'd be great for him to shut the critics up and him to finally get a premiership. That'd be awesome. But yeah, that's just me. That's just me, Ben.
Yeah, I reckon some people will agree with you. Part of me does. There's a lot of people that didn't like the way he carried on after they won in Geelong. I love Ken. Look, I love Ken too. I didn't like that moment, but I love Ken. My favourite Ken memory was in 2007 when all the Cats players were getting their premiership medals and Paul Chapman was announced as the Norm Smith. Was that the one? Yeah. No, it must have been 2009. Sorry. 2009 is the one I'm thinking about. 2009. Yeah. Oh, could have been 2007. No, it was. Sorry, everyone. It was 2007. Stevie J got it, and Ken Hinkley absolutely went bonkers. He was throwing high fives everywhere. He was punching. He almost ran 10 meters off into another direction. He was getting that carried away with it. He loved it. So that's my favorite Ken memory. But mate, I don't know. Cats could be traveling. It could be a whole bunch of Geelong supporters traveling over to South Australia in the next few days, in the next 12 or 14 days.
I'll be there as well. Make the trip. We might play them again in the qualifying final. We just don't know. Oh, in the comments as well, Trevor spoke. Yeah, Geelong boy as well. I'd like to see him win a premiership. He stuck with the club when it was in its darkest times as well. I don't know if you remember. We actually wanted to get both. Seld, Chris Scott, Jimmy Bartell came to Adelaide. They actually went to his house, funnily enough. But Trevor Spoke stuck fat with them, and he became the captain and all of that too. I'd like to see him become a premiership player as well.
Yeah, it'd bookend his career, wouldn't it? Because his first year was the 2007 grand final loss. Yeah. So, potentially could end it with 2 grand final losses. Could win it though. I know this grand final doesn't get talked about a lot, but the 2004 grand final against Brisbane, when they won, they steamrolled them in that fourth quarter when it was pretty tight. It was a great grand final for 3 quarters. If you got that one on DVD, or if they show that one maybe during grand final week, that'll be a good one to watch. Look, I hope a few Geelong fans get over there. I think, to be honest, that's the most likely scenario that Cats will finish third, play Port Adelaide, probably on a Friday night, something like that, I think. And yeah, if Geelong fans, if you're watching this, and if you're going to go over, if you're going to drive over, it's about an 8 or 9 hour drive. You're going to get a ticket, mate. Bring the energy. You've really got to stick it up those Port fans, because they're going to be up and about. Get over there and make some noise. Look for Kyri. Look for him. Look, get your face right up close to the camera. Look for that face. You need to find this man, and you need to be our army in South Australia. We need to do it. But I think for me, that's where I think it's Port Adelaide. Who knows? Maybe they'll lose to Freo. Maybe that'll happen.
Yeah, and the pre-game as well, you yell up, "Never tear up our tarps." All right, get your scarves out. Never tear up our tarps. I do it every Port game I go to. All right. So we're going to do it again. Do
you know what? If there's a bunch of Cats fans heading up, how about we all pull together and we purchase this really big tarp and we just all roll it out over one bay that we're in, and we just, Something like
big 119 on it as well.
Oh, yes! That's the win. That's the win right there. The 1119 bay. Do they have a 119 bay? The Adelaide
I
Oval.
have to check actually. Gee whiz.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, Cats fans, if we are playing Port, bring it when you go there. Tell you what, don't sit there nice and politely. Let them know. Let them know all about it. If you've got a 119 Guernsey, you know those Guernseys that you see around every now and then with the 119 on the back. We're one of them. If you've got a Guernsey, Declan, I don't know if you've got your little Guernsey yet, but if that hasn't put a number on the back yet, but we might have to get a 119 number.
Declan, get your banners out, mate. 119, mate. You got your banners ready to go, you know.
Yes, I can see in the chat, Jackie says Rochelle was dropped because Paul did his Nuff of the Week video. So, yes, that is the reason.
Yeah,
it's all about
the
whole world turns on these Nuff of the Week videos. It's just how it is. It's just how,
Facts.
What can you do? There is no 119 bay at Adelaide Oval. Well, there will be because we're rolling out the tarp. We will be.
It's happening.
We're rolling out the tarp.
It's happening.
All right, mate. I better let you go. Oh, give me your 3, 2, 1s before I let you go. Or your 1, 2, 3s.
Yeah. So 3 votes. Jeremy Cameron. I'm going to give my 2 to Paddy Dangerfield, and I'm going to give my 1 to Jackie Bowes. I thought he was instrumental, especially in that first half. And what a pickup he's been, man. Got her on the cheap, been absolute gun in the midfield, and loving what Jackie Bowes is doing too. And shout out to Tanner Bruin, Max Holmes, Zach Guthrie, Sean Manor, and Reece Stanley. Big
Reece, big Ruck Stanley. We love him. I'm so happy for him today to get a couple of goals, especially that one at the end as well, where he pushed us, got us close to 100 points. And I thought, here we go. It's what we need. And then I think we gave one away late, and they got a goal back, got a goal or 2 back, but that was okay. So happy for Reece. Look, mate, you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks again for coming on. Always love having a chat, especially after a Cats win. Let's hope there's a few more wins this year. Let's hope, because I love doing the show after a win. It's hard when you have a loss. Last week was really hard, the Saints game. I appreciate you coming for that one. You were there that one, weren't you?
Yeah, I was always, mate, always win, lose or draw. But what a difference a week can make. It's absolutely fantastic, and I'm excited. Bring on the finals, man. Go the Catters!
The Catters. Enjoy the night, mate. Take care.
Ben. See ya.
All right. He's a good bloke, isn't he? Even Adelaide Crows supporters wear 119 on their jumpers at Power. Oh, I'm not sure what that is. Sorry. How good would it be if we did that? It's not going to happen, but wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny? I don't know if we'd be allowed to bring it in. All right. Now, before I get Bianca on it, I think we've got Bianca's little brother on today as well, which will be nice. Let me just do some things at the back end here. Here we go. All right. Now, she wasn't on last week for very good reason. She had a big final to play in, but by popular demand, she's back. Here she is, Bianca and family. Welcome back.
How's it going, guys? Wait, you got to talk. What do you say?
Welcome to post-game. This is post-game Bianca. Welcome.
You got to talk.
That's okay. I'm just a person who's Declan. I'm in my garage, just like where you are right now. It's kind of like the same. I've got Cats pictures and things like that. So I'm just a person on the other end of the camera. Don't have to be scared. It's all good. Let's hear about it, Bianca. What did you like from today?
Well, I liked a lot of things, but most importantly, I liked just Chez's 9 goals. It's fantastic. I almost got 10, but and then Stewie and Lawson, Tom Stewart and Lawson Humphreys got subbed out, but that doesn't really matter. But let's just talk about Reece Stanley. Man, he was the second best player on the field. He was really good in the mid.
Yeah. What, Declan? Who did you like today?
Does the Cameron kicking 9 goals?
How good was he? He couldn't miss at one point. He had 8 in a row or something before he missed a goal. I couldn't believe it. He was amazing. Where did you sit today? Did you go to the game today, Declan? Did you sit near the goals or did you sit on the side?
On the side.
In the goals. In the pocket.
Ah, very nice.
Okay. Who's your favourite player? Tell them who your favourite player is.
Jezza Cameron.
What? Oh, so now Jez is your favourite player? Oh, okay. I thought it was, he's not going to be happy then.
Who's Dad's favourite player? Who's Dad like the most?
Sean Manor.
Who was that?
Sean Manor.
Sean Manor. Manor from heaven.
Yeah. He's got a jumper with number 7 on the back.
Now I see you've got the Tom Hawkins back to front.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Show it love.
It was nice to see Tommy Hawkins there today, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think you go party me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's resigned I don't think he's going to make it back in. I think that's what it kind of looked like. But you know, what's that saying? Don't be sad that it's ended. What's the saying? Be happy that.
Glad or happy that it happened. Yeah.
You know, but you know, you never know. Never know what can happen. But yeah, the first half was amazing. I was shocked. Like they pretty much got a standing ovation at halftime, and the Geelong chant got chills. But then
in the second half, it was like the St Kilda game all over again.
The opening minute of the second half, I was like, uh-oh. There was like a hush, just went, this isn't going to happen again, is it? It was like...
We were 100 points in front.
Yeah. But, you know, Chris Scott said, though, in the press conference that Lawson Humphries and Tom Stewart are fine.
Oh, what a relief.
He said they're completely fine, that it didn't matter what the doctors were going to say. As soon as they came off saying something, they just pulled them. And Lawson came over to us anyways and gave out a ball, and he looked like he was fine. There was no ice or anything. I think he even jogged. So it was like it was half. So it looks like everything's fine.
I saw him on the TV, on the big screen at the ground. I'm like, oh no,
Yep.
and I can't get Wi-Fi, so I'm looking. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I just couldn't figure it out. Oh, I was like, oh no. But look, we're going to get injuries, Bianca and Declan. I think we'll get more injuries this year. So let's just hope that we've got a really good team because there's like 40 players at Geelong. So hopefully everyone's playing really well, and it doesn't matter who's there in the finals. That everyone who gets an opportunity plays their best on the day. That's really all that matters, doesn't it? So hopefully those two are fit. Hopefully Jezza kicks another 9 goals. That'll be good. I'm sure you'll like that, Declan, if he kicks another 9 goals.
10. Go 10.
10? 10.
Gotta go better. There's only one place to go. Go up.
Now, does Gary Rowan come back in now? How do you get Gary Rowan back into the side, Bianca? How does that happen? Who's got to come out?
Anyone comes out. I don't think Buse was that bad either. Was he?
No, I don't think he was bad, but he's definitely not.
Brad Close has to improve in the finals.
You're gonna drop Brad Close?
Don't you dare! Don't you dare drop Brad. Cover your ears, Brad. He's over at the.
I think
I'll tell
we
you.
have Brad right here.
Where? Oh, you got Brad, a little bobblehead Brad too, have you?
Brad's here too. Brad's fine.
Hang on, I got to show you something. Let me just take these off for a sec. Keep talking. I'm just gonna.
Oh, there we go. Here we go. There.
I've got me Tommy Hawkins because I've got a story to tell you, Bianca and Declan. When the news broke that Tommy Hawkins wasn't going to play in this game, I thought, oh no, I don't think we're ever going to see Tommy Hawkins again. And I was really sad. And I came into the garage and I saw the Tommy Hawkins bobblehead, and the cat, my cat, who is a cat by the way, of course, he's a cat. He knocked Tommy off and he broke his ankle. See, his foot. He probably won't. It's all fuzzy, but he broke his foot, so he still stands up okay. But poor old Tommy. It's okay, Tom. It's okay. He still stands up. That's fine. That's the main thing. So, But anyway, that's a bit of a shame. Now, there is a question, Bianca, in the chat from Either Moment. Says, what was your favourite song from today?
Oh, the moment.
You tell him. You
What was
tell
your
him.
favourite?
All on the basketball.
Oh, say it a bit louder.
All on the
It's
basketball.
Rattling Bog.
Oh, yes. When Tui kicked a goal. And they
Loves
play that.
He loves it every time it happens. It's happened this year. He absolutely loves it. But I think he likes the Wiggles version better. So, but he said that when he kicks a goal, he wants me to play the Wiggles version. So yeah, he's a big fan.
Do you like the Tequila song?
You like the Tequila? Whose song's is Tequila?
Sean O'Neill. But
That's
then
right.
it played when Ollie Henry kicked a goal.
That was wrong. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
That's his song. Just leave it
His
with
song.
Shannon.
A lot of them had different songs.
Oh.
How about USA?
Yes.
Oh, yes. You could have just said it. You didn't have to whisper it.
Didn't Katy Perry get on today? Oh, yeah, there's Paul's put her up. Katy Perry was on high rotation, very high rotation today.
Yeah.
We haven't had Taylor Swift yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
And we haven't had Wiggles. And we haven't had Up the Catters. When are we going to get Up the Catters? When are we going to get Up the Catters?
Yeah.
No,
When I-
are we gonna-
My song.
You're going to
Go
make
on.
it your song, are you?
Yes.
Get out there.
You have,
Enjoy
you have,
it.
you have to play
Enjoy
it when I
it.
kick the
For
goal.
all of us.
Okay? It's a long song. We've got it. What's the song again? Up the Catters.
Show us your dance moves. Show us your dance moves. Declan.
Come on, dance moves. Show us the Wiggles. You do Wiggles. Yeah, come on. Do the mashed potato.
Oh, I'll play it at the end for anyone who wants to listen to that at the end of the show.
Spaghetti.
There's definitely a lot of people probably watching tonight's show that don't enjoy the music, but that's okay. But it was great. The weather was fantastic today. I just felt, and I said this earlier, it was just a really nice energy at the game today. It's just good to be there. Really good feeling. Yeah, when you win, when you're up by 100 points in the first half, that does help. That does help the vibes. My daughter, who's a bit older than you, Bianca, she said every time she goes to watch the Cats play, we always thrash the other team. And she actually wants to see a close game. She doesn't like it when Geelong's winning by so much. I said,
No,
her name's Bella. Her name's Bella. Shout out, Bella. You weren't around in 1994 when West Coast beat us in the grand final. So I'm enjoying beating them by very large margins over the last few years.
You don't want to know what happened in Rome.
Oh, Bianca,
Yes.
you won't sleep tonight.
84-9.
I just remember it.
What was the score?
Don't worry about it.
I went to that grand final when we lost to the West Coast Eagles, and I was a bit older than you, Declan, at the time. But yes, all I remember was it was Gary Ablett Senior's birthday, Gary Ablett Junior's dad, and everyone sung happy birthday. And but we lost the game by about 84 points, and they just kept playing the West Coast Eagles song over and over and over, and it was like, oh, if I never hear this song ever again, I'll be happy. So I was very, very happy to beat them today. I did feel sorry, I must say. I do have a heart, believe it or not. I do have a heart. There was a West Coast man sitting next to me with a son about your age, Declan, and I felt so bad for that father who had to talk his son through it, be really positive about this loss. It is hard because you think, oh, he's not going to want to support this club when he's older. He might decide he likes Geelong. My team's terrible. So that's always difficult.
He can follow Harley Reid over to Geelong.
Exactly, and Jake Waterman
What
too.
about Jake Waterman?
And Waterman.
Correct, Bianca. Jake Waterman's coming. Who else can we get? There must be more.
Mr. Petrarca. Leighton Oliver. Because I've seen that video that you posted. Mr. Petrarca. Leighton Oliver.
Has everyone seen the Petrarca video that Paul put out? It's done some big numbers. Big shout outs to Paul tonight. He's nodding. He's very happy in the chat, and I can see him on the camera at my end as well. But yeah, Petrarca. I don't think that's going to happen. But it was nice to sort of fantasize about the possibility of Christian Petrarca coming until. Let's see what happens when the silly season starts at the end of the day. Now, before I let you go, Bianca, I really need to know about what you're thinking about the AFLW season, because it's next weekend, isn't it? It starts.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
When is it?
Saturday on Saturday Night Showdown.
Tell the people. The people are out there. You want to get a big crowd? Tell them. This is your chance right now to tell all the Geelong supporters.
Pump it up.
They're all watching
give
it
a
out
rev
there.
up.
Tell
Let's
them.
rev it up.
You got to tell them to come. Go on.
You guys have to come to the game, Jim HBA Stadium, next Saturday. We're going against the Melbourne Demons. Round 1, AFLW.
That's right. Let's
At
do it.
GMHBA.
Let's get 30,000. Let's do it. Let's get a massive crowd. Let's make it a party. Let's go.
I want everyone to get there and then be really grumpy because they can't get in because they haven't anticipated this number of people coming along to the AFLW.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't think we'd get 20 to 30,000 people here. No, look, seriously, if we can get 10 to 15,000 on a really nice sunny day or night, I think it is. Probably not going to be much sunshine at night time. It is a night game, isn't it? Who knows?
Yeah, it is.
We'll have a reverse solar eclipse. Maybe that'll happen.
It's good that, the AFL teams just sent us off. We've got a week off now. There's no game next week.
Yep.
We're doing well. We're in the top 4.
Well, there is a game.
Come and support the club. Come and support the club now. We've got the week off there. Get there. We've got a really good team. Bit of showtime. They play better with a big crowd. We've seen it last year. The bigger the crowd, the better the performance.
And there's a lot of us that love their AFLW, the Cats AFLW team, that are still bitter from that preliminary final where it was ripped out of our hands.
That was a free kick, dude. That has not gone out of my mind.
Plus, we could win $1 million. Do you know about that? Do you know about the $1 million? If the men's team and the women's teams combined, I think it's like the women get twice as many points. But if whoever gets the most out of the men's and the women's combined wins $1 million from the AFL. Geelong, we need a roof over the stadium. I'm joking. Taxpayers' dollars just aren't cutting it anymore. Come on, we need every dollar we can get. And we really should get that. I don't know if you heard me before, but I was saying we should do a GoFundMe and send you both off to Sydney or South Australia for the first final. We should get that happening. Someone who wants to set that up. Let's get them. Let's get Bianca and Declan to the first final.
We're going to finish second. We'll finish second. I reckon. I believe. I believe it. I think we'll finish second. I got this feeling. I mean, it's Freo and Port, right? In Perth. Mm-hmm. That's who's playing this tomorrow.
Yep.
And GWS v Bulldogs and Ballarat.
Freo are due. Freo are due. And then what is it? It's Bulldogs GWS, is it?
I think yes. Ballarat, isn't that right?
Oh yeah. No, I reckon. I believe. I think we're going to finish second.
Yeah.
I just believe it's meant to be.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to happen. In the chat, question: are you doing post game lives, PGLs? People at the Hoops crew, we call it. We don't say post game live. We say PGL because we always talk about. Yeah, we are 100%. We are. We're doing post game live for the AFLW season as well. So, if you enjoy, you probably don't enjoy me so much, but if you enjoy hearing other Cats fans talk about the game, whether it's a win or a loss, you want to come on and express some feelings or hear what other people are saying about it. We'll still be doing this through the AFLW season as well. So don't worry, they'll definitely be there. 30 points to go ahead and percentage. Hopefully,
34. I'll win by 34.
I tell you what, worst case scenario, some Freo bloke, probably Frederick will do us again. He did us he broke our hearts last year. He'll miss a shot to put him up by 30. Anyway, whatever. If we're good enough to win in September, we're good enough to win. If we can't win, we can't win. But what can you do? Yeah, have I got your 3-2? Is there one more thing before I get your 3-2-1s? Is there something else you wanted to say?
Do you want to say, who did you meet today as well? You got a T-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to show?
Yeah.
She's got a T-shirt. She's seen someone today. She's just folding it back around. Come on, Jacob.
Great live TV. This is fantastic.
There you go.
Oh, who's that?
Show me everyone.
Party B.
Oh, Party B. That's today.
There you go. Yeah. We met Bianca today, your girl Party B. So get on there.
Right.
Spotify. You listen to Up the Catters on Spotify. It's out there.
I've already done it, dude.
Bianca's probably responsible for a lot of the views. A lot of the plays. And I think we've got all of us have got 3, 2, 1s, I think. You want to go first, Bianca, or Declan
Who
first?
wants to go first?
So Declan's doing his first 3, 2, 1.
All right, Declan.
Ready? Now.
My 3 votes is Jessica Cameron. My 2 votes is Ollie Henry. And my 1 vote is Tom Atkins.
Wow. Good on you, Tom Atkins. He played well today.
My 3 votes goes to Jessica Cameron. My 2 votes goes to Jack Henry. And my 1 vote goes to Reece Stanley.
Oh.
Yeah. Now, what do I have? 3 for Jessica Cameron, 2 for Jack Henry, and 1 for Jack Bowes. But, I mean, outside of Henry, you could have given it to everybody. I mean, I almost gave it to Lawson. He only played half a game. Like, he was brilliant in the first. So, let's just bottle up that first half and bring it out in 2 weeks' time. Let's go.
Oh, we are so excited right now. It's going to be tough. We're going to have to play our best football in September, but this will be some of the most memorable. If we can somehow find a way to win a final or two and get into a prelim, we'll just be absolutely brimming with excitement and hope. And you never know. You just never know. It's a possibility. We could be there on that final day again, and then let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get a 5th premiership. I'm not going to rule it out. I'm not saying we're favourites.
Just think about it. We're only 3 games. We're 3 wins away. We're 3 wins away from a premiership. We went 8 in a row, didn't we? Earlier in the year. 7 in a row.
7.
I only got to do 3.
That's 3.
Let's do it.
3.
We only had to do 2 and then we lost.
What do you reckon, Dad? What do you reckon?
Fire up.
Let's go.
We only had to do 2 and then we lost.
That's it.
Well, enjoy the rest of your night. Hopefully, you'll get a chance to watch the replay at some stage in the next little bit. I know I'll be watching it tomorrow morning. I might just skim parts of the second half, but I might, or maybe I'll just play the first half and then play the first half again. Maybe that's what I'll do. I don't know. It was some good things. When did Tui kick that goal? Because that was probably third quarter.
It was the first half.
Third.
I don't know. It was
I
the third
reckon it
quarter.
was the third quarter, actually. Yeah, I might have to watch
Good
that.
job, Dick.
He's on the ball. Dick, I have to say, everyone in the chat, let's show Declan some love because Bianca, you're in trouble. We might have to call this post game Declan soon. You're gonna have to sort this out off camera.
Because I actually screamed out because I think we got a free kick. I think we got a free kick, and I think I just saw someone played on. And I was like, "Why would you play on?" Everyone goes crazy. I'm like, "Never mind, we're good. It's all good. No worries." So,
very good, very good. All right, enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks again for coming on. Go Catters!
What do we say? 1, 2, 3. Go Cats!
See ya. Oh, how good was that? I get so excited when they come on. There's so much. Everybody loves them in the chat. And seriously, Bianca, you got to be careful because this might become post-game Declan very soon if we're not careful. Now, Paul, are you ready to come on, mate? Give us a nod in the chat. Here he goes. He's been at a wedding today. He might have had a couple of frothies. I'm not sure, but here he is. Let's bring him on.
Yeah, I've been on the sauce a little bit. Hence why I jumped into the call before and then hadn't realised that I was muted and no one was hearing me chirping Josh Rochelle. But yeah, look, I won't lie. I've only seen a few of the highlights so far. Been at a wedding, so I'll be kind of sitting down to do my research tonight before putting together the reaction video, which I presume will be a little bit later as a result. We wouldn't go as far as to say pissy Paul. We're not there. No, I still had to drive, so I haven't done a number on myself this time around. And it's a good thing footy season doesn't run up until some of my end of the year work functions, because then the tag fits. I guess my questions are, and I know that there's the Tom Stewart and Lawson Humphreys kind of injuries that aren't really injuries. But what kind of happened in the second half? We didn't complete, like wheels didn't fall off, but we didn't accelerate like we were up to that point. What Was it another case of us putting the cue in the rack, but this time the opposition is just so much worse that didn't really matter? Like a Cats in second or third gear can still kind of fend off the Eagles. Like what are we seeing from the second half?
I think a combination of a few things for me, and only the coaches will probably know, and maybe even they need to look at the footage to really figure it out. But a combination of losing some pretty important defenders at halftime in Humphreys and Stewart. I think they definitely had a plan to come out 100 miles an hour from the opening bounce just to try and absolutely put it to bed and to give ourselves the best possibility at a massive victory to have a really, really good look at a top 2 finish if everything else goes our way. But after that, I think, some injuries probably eased up a little bit. West Coast, I'm going to give them a little bit of credit. I thought they did some pretty good things in the second half. They were sloppy and clearly, it wasn't their best side, and they've still got some issues to work out moving forward. But we just dropped things a little bit. I think the sun was a little tricky today. I don't know. It was a bit of an early start. Players were dropping the ball at times, having some fumbles and whatnot. But it was a great game. It was a fantastic game, regardless of the second half.
Yeah, definitely keen to check it out. Especially that first half, because it's a bit of a party when Jeremy Cameron kicked 7 in the first half. But I thought he was making a last-ditch crack at just trying to kick 17 goals and pinch a Coleman. But anyway, enjoy that one. What's his name?
Where does he sit now on the column?
He's second. I think he jumped Charlie, but he's still a little bit behind Jesse Hogan. Like he's about 10 goals behind Jesse Hogan. Like he's not. Yeah, it was never in any danger this week. Jesse Hogan went into the round 10 goals ahead of Charlie in second spot. So, with the wheels falling off Charlie, the wheels fell off Carlton. And look, I kind of said and I guess we referenced that video that I was talking about, in terms of the even season, and kind of I was talking about how every team had a case to make to go away from this season as the Premier. I think now going into the finals, and I don't want to. I worry that I'm going to eat humble pie here at some point, but I feel like Carlton is quick if they hold on, and they need the right sequence of events to happen tomorrow. But if they hold on, I think they're the one team that I think at this point is maybe out of their depth, not because they're no good, but because they've just been decimated. Charlie's coming back in no good shape. I have it on very, very good authority that Sam Walsh's back is completely shot.
Oh, really?
Now he's soldiering on because that's what he does. But if he cops one knock in the wrong spot in his back, he could just fall apart on game day. And there's a few others in a bad place. Like, there's a lot of them that are basically on their last legs for this season. So you don't want that, because you want to make sure that as a club, you want to come in fit and firing. And as an opposition, I don't want, like, if we find ourselves somehow playing against Carlton, I don't want a free and easy win. I want to beat a team at their best. But it seems like they're the team that's perhaps going to be the easy beat at this particular point through no real fault of their own. Well,
if we could play the 2008 grand final again, I wouldn't have minded if Stewie Dew wasn't playing. That would have been nice.
That's fine.
Anyway, we won't go there.
I mean, he wasn't for all but about 5 minutes of the match.
No.
Arsehole. I did see in the comments before, speaking of Hawthorn, I'm not going to be able to scroll and find him in the comments now, but I did see people kind of referencing the idea of a Geelong v Hawthorn kind of rematch. Yeah. I don't particularly want that.
Okay.
I don't know. At some point, we've got to get over it. There's probably a monkey on the back to a degree here, but I just don't want to match up against. I genuinely think Hawthorn are getting pretty heavily overrated. I know they're doing some great things, and their score, like all the points for, there's a whole bunch of stats that shine very brightly on them. But then if you look at the opposition through that block of games that they're talking about, they're all teams that are either Carlton, who are in a world of hurt, or they're cellar dwellers. So that skews the numbers. I mean, if you want to talk about, Geelong's the best team in the comp for if we base it on the last round, okay, sure. Like you can, but when you look at the season in its entirety, they haven't beaten many top 8 teams. They have come close on a few occasions. Of course, they only recently lost to GWS, and were arguably unlucky to lose to GWS. They've had a few games that were kind of close like that to some top 8 teams, but they're not getting the points against that opposition at the moment. So I'm not necessarily worried about Hawthorn, but there's just something about these two teams playing head to head, and in a knockout final, I don't like the sound of that. So
I'm gonna have to say something here, Paul, and I'm going to strongly disagree. The only way to get over 2008 is to beat Hawthorn in a grand final. That is the only.
I agree. You got to bite the bullet at some point, right?
A bit like you and Nick Davis. Shout out Nick Davis coming behind the play. Was it early this year or late last year? Something like that.
Last year now, yeah.
You're a little Paul James in your pajamas watching on Dad. Dad brought the projector screen out, and you were very excited in 2005 in the semi-final. You can
almost tell that story better than me at this point.
There you go. You've told it if you told. But poor old bloody Nick Davis broke your little heart, little Paul James heart. He was crying in his dad's chest.
He's up. I was like 15 years old.
Just go with it, Paul. Go with it.
It's for all of us. You had the real Jeremy Cameron sort of voice going on there. It was good. Yeah, no, I agree. At some point, you've just got to get the monkey off the back and just. Oh, here he goes.
I can't restart.
At some point, you've just got to bite the bullet and get that win. But I don't know. It makes me worried. Like I still, and I've said this on various shows over the journey as well. And Jackie, I actually like Nick Davis now too. Now that I've actually had a chance to speak to the bloke, and get over some of that PTSD. But yeah, I've said it a few times. Like there was a lot of Geelong supporters who were very, very happy with the Kennett curse, even in retrospect. But the reality of the situation is that when we played the Hawks, that what bookends the Kennett curse is a loss in the grand final and a loss in the preliminary final.
Yeah.
So for me, as much as there were some amazing highlights, I think about Jimmy Bartell's point to win it. I think about Tom Hawkins' goal after the siren. There's a whole range of amazing highlights, and it was certainly fun. But I don't necessarily look back on it fondly because, as much as I hate to say it, Jeff Kennett was right. When it counts, they got us. In the grand final and in a prelim final on either end. So it's that kind of leaves me constantly a little bit anxious about a Hawthorn final. And you are 100% right. At some point, you just got to bite the bullet. But Jackie's right. 2011 qualifying final. I guess the one little disclaimer I did put on that was that knockout finals are the thing.
Is the one.
Yeah.
But Paul,
to be fair, the only scenario that we can play the Hawks now is a knockout final. Be it a semi, be it a prelim, or be it a grand final.
Oh, okay.
Because like first week will be a qualifier against a top 4 team. If we lose, or if we win and we just play them later, like every final from that point is a knockout. So,
okay, cool. All right, I was going to ask you, who do you want to play in a grand final? And we are the lead is a little bit off here. We've just won
Carlton.
A game.
Carlton, right? give me a wounded Carlton. Give me a wounded Carlton.
I want to hurt him. I want to hurt Carlton so bad. I want their dream. I want them to get that close to it. Shout out Terry and Pommy. We love you, but
yeah, we love you guys.
Oh, goodness me, I would just love to shatter the dreams of some Carlton fans. It would make
I do have that too, and yeah, 1995 kind of rings out. It's probably for me, it's kind of my earliest footy memory. I was born in '89, so I was too young for the actual '89 grand final itself. But at the age of 5 or 6, I have memories of 1995 and how that played out, and then ultimately me kind of walking outside and going to kick the footy at about halftime because I was already a bit over it. For me, there is that, sure, and I do agree with all the sentiments around getting one back for the cheat grand final they stole off us. But at the same time, also, I like theatrics in finals. I think very fondly of 2009. But I also don't mind 2007, 2022, where we just thrashed them and got it over and done with. So if we were to happen to play Carlton in the grand final and they're a bit wounded, I don't know how they would get there considering how battered up they are. But if that somehow worked out and then we could just bury them nice and early, that'd be good. Be good for the heart. Trying to look after the ticker.
We've had all types of grand finals. We've had 4 premiership wins. We've had a couple of losses
in this century, yeah.
How could a grand final play out that would it set itself apart from those other ones, do you think? What would need to happen? Would it be a 40-point comeback halfway
That's
through
the only thing we haven't done, really. That's the one we haven't done because we've had 2007 and 22, which were annihilations. We had 2009, which was obviously kind of this arm wrestle the whole time. And there's arguments we made that we weren't necessarily the best team that season, maybe not even on the day, but we kind of got it done. 2000, there's a whole range of theatrics around both 09 and 11, but yeah, I think that deep comeback / as Jackie says, a kick after the siren, that's all that's missing from these. How many has there? I can't think of many grand finals that have been decided in that way. Has there been a grand final decided, the kick after the siren?
No, I think the one
specifically grand final. I know a lot of people will talk about Malcolm Blight and those sorts of things, but that wasn't a grand final.
No, I think what's his name, the West Coast bloke from a few years back who didn't kick it after the siren, but put him in front with not much time to go from the boundary. Why is his name escaping me for a moment? But I think we all know that goal.
Port have done it after the siren. We've had Isaac miss against us after the siren. There's.
Oh, here we go. Here's a great one. Factual opinion: grand final that's called off because of lightning and club winning in 3/4 time wins. There you go.
And I love that it comes from an account called Factual Opinion. Thanks, mate. Jackie just shouts out Dom Sheed, which of course wasn't after the siren, but because it hurts Collingwood supporters, I'm all for it. We'll make sure that's put out there, just so if you can't hear what we're saying, you can read it.
Beautiful.
Melchesky was close in 2012. Yeah, there's. I think in terms of a story, it's probably that comeback / the kick after the siren. That's probably the thing that we haven't done amongst these premierships. But honestly, I'd be okay with just us smacking a team and having that peace of mind and being able to celebrate nice and early. Gives us an extra 40 minutes, 50 minutes of celebrating being premiers. I'll take that.
Oh yeah, I know. I think the comeback.
But I didn't get to go to 2009. That's the grand final I've missed of the 4. So I have kind of missed that really highly climactic, biting the knuckles sort of game in a grand final. So I wouldn't object to being part of those experiences as well, as long as we're on the right side of the ledger.
Here's another one for you. What about Geelong is playing Brisbane in the grand final? We're up by 50 points. Brisbane comes storming back and take a mark with 15 seconds left. And it's
Joe Danaher because he can't kick.
No, Lockie Neal, because I hate Lockie Neal. What if it's Lockie Neal from 40 metres out, slight angle, to hit the front. He's lining up.
Woodwork.
Everyone's just trying to put him off. Bang, woodwork, as you said. And we just jump, and he's just on his knees. He's already started crying because he can tell. And in mid-flight, that's not going to be a goal. Every Geelong player's all over the place. Chris Scott's broken the window in the coach's box. That'd be great.
Chris Scott's not in the coach's box. Chris Scott is in the lift on the way down because he's too angry. He can't watch it.
He's vomiting in the waste pile.
Yeah.
The little bin under his desk.
Look, we're getting carried away, of course, because we are jumping into a grand final. We've got 3 more games to win before we can do that. But it feels like a viable thing at this point. It feels possible, which is exciting because there's a lot of people in the Geelong community and outside of it that thought, okay, we're rebuilding. We might need to slide a little bit. We might kind of linger in that bottom half, the top half of the bottom half of the ladder again. But here we are. And I did go and check actually while you were chatting about it before with Kyri. I personally went and checked my predictions video I put out. I said Cats 3 to 4. There's also a lot of other tips about that top 8 that I got wrong. My beloved Gold Coast Suns again.
You had 17 wins, Cats finishing 4th. Jake had Cats finishing 4th. I had Cats finishing 4th. Jake's probably the closest with 16 wins. But Johnny's the only one that picked the Cats to finish 3rd, and that's still a good possibility as well.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I mean, I guess discussing tomorrow, and I've heard it kind of alluded to by people so far, I genuinely feel like second is a thing. I went and kind of messed around because we default to the AFL's own ladder predictor, and that's such a shitty piece of tech because it doesn't allow you to specify exact margins. You don't get the nuance of the whole thing. So I went digging around and found some other ones to mess around with before. Freo, now admittedly, Freo is not a team that scores 115 points in a game. But I was kind of just bouncing around with different margins and that sort of thing, just fluctuations around 100 point, roughly 100 point either way. Freo could win by 20 points and we can skip ahead if depending on what some of those margins are. So
Okay.
we're talking about a 4 to 5 goal game in favour of Freo. And look, I checking personal bias and what we want to happen. I personally believe Freo can win. I tipped Freo this week. I've tipped the Dogs this week. They both have the home ground advantage, and both are, pretty awesome teams. And Freo have everything to fight for. Port have at least got their top 4 stitched up. Freo need to fight for that top 8 spot. So,
Amy in the chat says she'd be happy if Lockie Neal gets a third Brownlow. Amy, I'm borderline going to kick you out of the chat for that. I'm joking. I don't like Lockie Neal at all.
No, she said she won't be happy.
Oh, you won't be? Well, you're an honorary member. Well done. Sorry, I've misread that. If you get Brownlow night, goodness me, if he wins another one, let's hope it's it won't be a Geelong player. Personally, I hope
Don't you dare say it's Nick Dacos.
No, Bontempelli.
I love the Bont.
Love the Bont. Hey, do you know who?
Again.
Do you know who picked Geelong to have the biggest improvement of any side this year? Thank you very much. Thank you. I think you said Adelaide. Everyone in the Hoops crew said Adelaide. I'm the only one. I think you forgot about Geelong, possibly.
Yeah, I certainly wasn't. Yeah, considering I tipped us for top 4, I
forgot about that a little bit. I think most of us had West Coast finishing bottom, so they've had a little bit of a better year than what we all probably thought they would have. Yeah.
Well, I had about 4 teams that I tipped for the top 8 that haven't made it. Adelaide, I had Gold Coast, I had Melbourne.
Yep.
There was a 4th. I can't for the life of me think of who it was. Oh, Collingwood.
Yep. Gold Coast. Oh, yes. How's Gold Coast going? They had a win today.
They had a win today. And good for them. They get one away win, and they managed to string a second in rapid time. But I don't know. I still believe in the Gold Coast Suns and where they're headed, but it was not this year.
You need a T-shirt. I believe in the Gold Coast Suns, just like those. Or get those badges like from Dark Knight Rises or whatever. Or I believe in Harvey Dent. I believe in the Gold Coast Suns. Now how
would you rather win a grand final? Kick after the siren or opposition miss after the siren?
Oh, you want to take that one first? You take that one first.
I'd rather win the kick after the siren.
Depends who it is.
I want us to be in control. Like I want to be in control of the destiny, not relying on.
The result is that we win, don't we? Are we going to assume that we win?
Yeah, but like I just even for the moment, like okay, it's in such and such's hands, Jeremy Cameron's hands. He's doing that shot from the boundary where he's going to do the ear thing afterwards. He's in that same sort of position again, the left forward pocket, and just kicks the goal off the siren, cracks a can, does a cow impression because he's about to pop another medal around her neck, and there we go.
I reckon my heart is dark.
But I'd rather win. Not.
I'd go back to Hawthorn again, and Sicily's got it to put him in front, and he misses. That'd be great. That'd be great. Look, I think you're right. If you can choose anyone but Hawthorn, I'd rather we have it. Who do I want to kick it? Probably not Ollie Henry this afternoon. Missed a couple of set shots there. Jez, everyone else. Jez is the default answer to that question. Who do you want to kick it for a grand final after the siren? I'll try and be a little bit. Well, Brad Close.
Oh no, like I want it for the theatrics, but he's not the one I would want it in his hands though.
No. But you got to be 50. You got to be. Let's say 48 meters out, slight angle, a lot of pressure. I reckon Paddy Dangerfield. He normally would shank it, but he will absolutely flush it. He'll flush it, bang right through the middle. The umpire will go just straight over his hat. It'll be.
You know who my pick is because he's absolutely going to play finals. It's Tom Hawkins. I'm certain he's going to play.
Can we just spend a moment talking a little bit about Tom Hawkins, because I know you love him, and I know you're a little bit sad, and maybe people will say I've tried to retire him all year round, and just because I think the Shannon Neal forward line structure is just working a bit better doesn't mean I don't like Tom Hawkins. Doesn't mean I want him. Well, I think he should retire, but I want him to play again, clearly, but only under the right circumstances. But is there anything you want to say about Tom? Because how are you feeling about the whole situation at the moment?
I mean, look, are we talking about it as a memorial piece here? Like, are we
working
on your assumption that he's gone, or am I going to get carried away about his future prospects still?
Go however you want to take it. I'll leave it up
Well,
to you.
honestly, I think he's going to come, and I think I've said this on a few post-game lives. I may have even done it in some other videos that I've put together. I genuinely think he's going to play. I think the pairing of, and look, what this needs to look like with Gary Rowan, still needing to come in, and the myriad of other players that we've got, as mid to smaller options, that's going to require a little bit of work. But I think there's a real opportunity there where you've got Tom Hawkins that you can kind of play him deeper forward, a bit more old school, a bit more like when thankfully there's no back that's going to be hampering him, but a bit like that period when he was having to play a key forward deep out of the square because he had a cooked back. Play him really deep. You let Shannon Neal essentially play as a centre half forward who can roam a bit, and Jeremy Cameron's basically playing off the half forward flank. We know Jeremy Cameron's not a contested mark. He's not really a marking player for the most part. And when he does mark it, it's the sort of things that we've seen him do so well, where he floats back into a contest and he burns a player off and then manages to kind of intercept or something like that. Hell, even today he stole a mark off someone because he burned his opponent, cut through the middle, took a mark, and then was that his 7th or 8th that he kicked at that point. Yeah. It's his athleticism that allows him to get on the end of the ball rather than necessarily the fact that he's a strong mark per se. I think him being able to kind of play off the half forward flank works to some of his strengths. While you've got two key forwards that are well and truly preoccupied with the Tom Hawkins, who you absolutely can't let free. Like your physically strongest defender has to go to him. And then Neal, you can't allow him to get off the hook because he's a beanpole. He's got height. He can kick the ball. He's really learning and developing that craft. I think there's something to be said for that trio playing there, let alone what that allows Ollie Henry to do, what that allows then the Smalls to be able to do with 3.5, if you want to toss Ollie Henry / Gary Rowan in there. Mid to tall players. It opens up a lot of opportunities for the Smalls as well. I genuinely think he's a really good addition for the forward line going into the finals. So, and it's a headache for the opposition. We spoke about this, I think, in regards to off the back of the Dogs game and how badly that hurt us to not be able to compete with 3 high-quality talls, being Sam Darcy, Jamari Ugle-Hagan, and Aaron Norton. Now, Tom Hawkins is not as athletic as any of those guys, but the other two match up. I just don't see any. And I've got to have a quick think about some of the teams that are likely to play in the finals at this particular point, and I don't really see any of them having 3 really high quality key position defenders that can handle that. The Swans don't.
Nope.
Port have Asava and Alir, but and I'm trying to think, they do have another key defender, don't they? Alir doesn't, they still try and use Alir as a third, like an inset player, don't they? I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
But instantly, I guess whether I'm right or wrong in that, either Alir has to match up on someone, or he's the third and the third interceptor, and he has to match up on one of those guys, and then you take away his greatest strength at that point because he has to be accountable. Third place is Geelong. GWS has Sam Taylor. Who else do they have as a key defender? Again, I'm probably forgetting people. Comments, please let me know if you can think of someone that I'm not thinking of.
We don't pay that. Well, we do watch other games, but it's very much.
I try to. I'm just blanking at the moment. It's all those beers, right?
Paul.
Oh, Port have Zerg Thatcher. Look out. What a massive threat. Sorry, Jazz Boy 212. I'm not taking the piss out of you here, but what a threat Zerg Thatcher is. Look out. Tom Hawkins will throw him around like it's 2003 and kick 8 on him.
Yep.
If anything, that works to our advantage. Oh yeah, there's Buckley in there as well that Jackie's kind of shouted out. Thank you. Brisbane, they've got their one gun key defender.
Houston.
Oh, sorry, Houston. Houston's a Port player and he's not playing for the rest of the season. So
that's true.
And he's also he's not a key forward. But no, why am I going blank on his name? He's playing right this second. He's a key defender. I hate him. Harris Andrews. That smarmy prick. Jeez, I hate his attitude. But anyway, he's obviously checking his attitude aside. He's a brilliant key defender, but they don't have a lot of other key defensive stocks there that are going to be able to clamp down on those sort of 3. So there's another matchup where we can potentially stretch the opponent. The Dogs, they've got those three themselves, but they don't have three defensively. That was what I argued would have really worked for us in that particular game had Tom Hawkins been available. Was what we really shot ourselves in the foot with by not bringing in Shannon Neal that night was that by topping up in our forward line, we would have had to draw we would have had to draw a Norton or someone to go back into defence to help Rory Lobb and Buku Kamas out, because they were easily able to cover Jeremy Cameron. They had multiple options. And not to mention Jeremy Cameron had probably the worst game he's played in 10 years that night. But I can't see them necessarily posing the threat, or they have to subtract from their greater strength to be able to cover us. And then Carlton a shot. If we, that's your top 8 as it stands. So I see a lot of teams struggling to handle that.
It'll be, I think, even
Freo, if they slip in, they've got some great options. I'd argue maybe they're the best of the lot when it comes to their defensive, their key defensive players, whether it's an Alex Pearce or, there's more. I'll stop hijacking your point here.
No, you're right. I was just going to say, you've got to get it. You've got to get it down there in the first place, and that's probably the thing that worries me. Not so much about. I think when we can get it down there quickly and regularly with precision, I think we're okay. But I think the forward lines are going to be fine. And whether it's even Tom Hawkins in the side, I could even see 3 tolls. It's probably not going to happen. I think we've tried that. It's not going to happen. But I think for me the biggest worry is, can we get a fit Paddy Dangerfield? Because I think when Paddy Dangerfield's playing well, the midfield will compete. They won't dominate. Our midfield, we haven't got the best midfield in the comp. Max Holmes is going to be a good player in a couple of years' time, but he gets a lot of it, and he's got a lot of speed. He'll turn it over occasionally, and that could be a little bit costly. But goodness me, if Danger's up and about, if we can get Sam de Koning back to free up Blitzarves a little bit, I do like Blitzarves down back, but I do like Blitzarves on a wing as well. So gives us a few more options at least. We can always put Blitzarves down back if we need it. Sam de Koning has been known to go forward a little bit more this year as well and play in the ruck if we need to, if it's not working for Reece. So I think for me, the solution isn't in the forward line. I think we've got to make the right choice in the next couple of weeks about what it looks like, especially if Tom gets through. If he does play in the VFL, I was saying earlier, that's a possibility. If he's right to go, he could play in VFL in that qualifying final. And I don't know. I think it's next week. I know the wildcard rounds.
Yeah, wildcards this week. Yeah,
this week, and then I think I don't know if they have a pre-finals bye. I think whether they just launch straight into that during the start of the AFLW comp. I'm not sure. Someone in the chat might know.
No, you're right. They'll have the wildcard this weekend, and then they're into it next weekend. So
straight into it. Well, that's the bye anyway. They don't need another week off, do they? If they have a wildcard round, which is probably what the AFL wants it for the men's comp at the senior level. You don't want that week off of dead time where it's a free hit to the NRL and other codes. But can Paddy Dangerfield
Hawkins to be the Stephen King and win a VFL and AFL grand final?
Of course. Why not?
Why not?
Who do we want to win a VFL? I want Hawkins did it. He did that in his first year as well, by the way. 2007. Didn't play in the grand final.
Got a VFL flag there.
Got a VFL flag.
Good year, 2007. Good year.
It was a handy year. It's going to be a good year this year. 2 teams in the top 4. AFL women's possibly backing it up with another top 4 with another preliminary final or grand final.
I did like your point when we had Declan and Bianca on talking about the $1 million. Like there's a
yeah.
I mean, we're not the clubs. I guess at the end of the day, all the clubs are their organisations. They've got checks and balances, so they are not at all going to object with an extra $1 million in the pocket. And the way we've positioned ourselves here, plus the fact that points are doubled in the women's game, why not? I did see the AFL, the AFLW captains got surveyed the other day, and there's only one of them, besides, of course, Meg Mack as our own captain, that thought Geelong was going to be a grand finalist. Every other team was tipping North or Brisbane, but
safe.
It's pretty safe. And I get it. They're both high quality teams, and North have just gone and won the VFLW comp, and they've kind of shown their strengths already. But why not? I don't see why we can't pocket $1 million at the end of the season.
Yeah, why not? Why not? What do we need at Cardinia Park that we haven't already got? What should we spend the money now?
That'll pay for one panel of the screen that we're getting built, right? Just one panel?
One panel. No. Could we spend that money? A big statue of Tom Hawkins or something like that. A big golden Tom Hawkins, you know.
If he's not going to get a stand, he needs a statue.
Well, where does the Tom Hawkins stand go? How can you...
The Tom Hawkins big screen.
The Tom Hawkins screen. Why not? Let's do it. Let's have the Tom Hawkins screen. Let's have.
We just had the comment here from Chris P. Mitch Hardy in the VFL and AFL Grand Final. He's suggesting a Marlon Pickett style situation here.
True.
Say your piece on Mitch Hardy, because I know you know where I stand.
Yep.
And I think most of the viewers know where I stand as well. But say your piece there, because it's been brought up.
Look, honestly, I just feel really bad for the guy. Does he get a chance? No, he doesn't. Look, I'm sorry, Mitch. You just can't. I was a little bit upset he didn't get a look this week, but I also knew there was a top 2 ladder position on the line if we had a big win, and it's not like last year where we went into the game and we just gave Sam Menengola a farewell game, and a few other players got some games that maybe otherwise wouldn't have. I think Ted Closey might have even had a debut that game as well. So It was a bit of a just give a few players a game kind of thing. There's a little bit more on the line here. We're not playing a final today, clearly, and I feel bad for West Coast. We had to beat up on them a little bit, but it just didn't. In the end, it just didn't feel like the right time for Mitch Hardy. Now, look, I was probably on socials a little bit asking the question, Mitch Hardy, that. Only because I know it's topical and I know people have got opinions and they want to talk about it.
Trying to say you're going for some engagement bait there, Ben?
Possibly. Well, we're an hour and 47 minutes into this, so some people that watch us won't care anyway. Others that maybe what's his post?
It's a reasonable question. We've seen plenty of people asking it in the chat for quite some time, right down to Chris asking the question in the show here. I get why people have been asking the question about it, and I think now I haven't really been able to watch the VFL much this year. I kind of bank enough brownie points each week to make sure I can sit down and watch the AFL game, and then it's back into dad mode from there. So for me, I look at the numbers and I see what he's doing, and I go, like, a lot of times you go, well, this bloke surely gets a game at some point, and I totally get that. But there's clearly something that he's not doing that the coaching staff doesn't like, that he is doing that the coaching staff don't like. And that's been the obstacle for him. There's no other way around it. This is not a scenario where the guy is, registering incredible numbers in the seconds and just getting ignored for some reason. There's clearly a component to his game that they're not happy with or needs improvement or whatever it is. I think about George Holland-Smith that was playing for us for years. He was getting incredible numbers in the seconds, but he wasn't getting a game for the most part for the Cats unless an injury popped up. It's because he wasn't fulfilling, I guess, some of the things that the clubs wanted. Luke in the comments, Constable, same deal, and ended up washing out even at the Gold Coast Suns. There was some injuries and those sorts of things as well, but there's clearly something about Mitch Hardy's game that the coaching staff don't like or is not up to standard in their eyes. And that's what stopped him missing the opportunity. So, yeah, as a few people have mentioned in the comments, does that mean that he finds a new club at the end of the season? Possibly. I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't begrudge him if he goes chasing opportunity, because I think a lot of those numbers would make a lot of other clubs happy. And then, there's clubs in places of development, and he would be a great fit for them. But
I have to say,
the Cats are in a position where they can kind of be strong in their opinions, and if they don't think he's ready, then I'll back him.
Jake,
as hard as that is.
Jake from the Chaps was saying that every other club had a chance to pick him up already, but only Geelong did. So Geelong's the only club that gave Mitch Hardy an opportunity, and for whatever reason, as you said, the points you made, maybe there's just things he's not doing, or maybe it's just that he's just not the right fit for this club. I feel really bad for the guy because I don't think he's going to get an opportunity at Geelong anymore. And I don't think he'll get an opportunity. Actually, I shouldn't even say this because I feel so bad saying it out loud. I don't think he's going to get picked up by another club because of his age. He's 27. Clubs are going to give opportunities to young guys. If he was 23, maybe. Geelong clearly doesn't mind drafting a 21-year-old, a 22-year-old. How old was Harry Taylor when he got picked up by the Cats? He would have been.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a mature age. Pods is kind of the real exception, but
yeah.
we are one of the few clubs that are willing to kind of have proven, at least, to take a punt on older players. And Shawnee Manor obviously fits that bill as well, more recently. But yeah, for me, there's something about his game. And Jackie's kind of highlighted. She said she's watching the VFL last week. His efficiency was in the 30s up to halftime. And that's the thing that, because we often don't see, like from the VFL stats as they're recorded, we don't often see the disposal efficiency there. And maybe that's it. As someone who's, declared a little bit already, I haven't really been able to see the VFL much over the course of the season. But to me, that makes a lot of sense then, if his disposal efficiency is no good.
I like this from Jason in the chat. He's got ways to spend the money. The gap between the Hickey stand and the players stand has always been a waste of space. They should extend the players stand to meet up with the Hickey stand and create the Tom Hawkins scoreboard in it. Might cost more than $1 million. But, yeah.
And just went and checked the AFL site. They don't keep a record of the disposal efficiency in the VFL. So I can't even check. That, but I'll back Jackie in with her halftime estimate or maybe accurate number. I'm not sure.
Can we do like you remember Taylorgate? That was a big thing when Taylor Swift came to Australia. And
I thought we were talking about Harry Taylor when he ran 3/4 of the oval after Isaac Smith missed.
The ham in the sock. Well, how about we double up 2 for 1. We get a scoreboard inside the ground and a scoreboard outside the main entry. So if you're in the queue like I was today and you're missing the first 5 minutes of the game, at least you can see it on the big screen there. I know a similar thing at Marvel Stadium as well. They've got the big screen on the outside. Do that. Get some sponsors on there as well. Make a bit of money, advertising dollars. Why not? Why don't they try something? Come on, Geelong.
They can project the Hoops crew on the big screen on the outside.
We could have a live show before the game. We could do a pre-game show. Pre-game.
We love the boys at K-Rock, but we got them covered.
Kingy, Benny.
Sorry, Kingy. Benny Cass.
Nearly. No, we love you. They're good. Check out K-Rock. I think everybody knows K-Rock by now. If you don't know K-Rock, you're probably from you probably don't live in Geelong or in Victoria. They do. They've been covering the Geelong footy for a long time, and they're incredibly biased. And I absolutely love that about K-Rock. Never change, please. If you don't like it, there's always other stations you can listen to. But if you just want to be an absolute biased commentary, please listen to Kingy and Benny Cass. Go all about it. We love it, especially if you can't get to the game. If you're on the tractor, if you're tending to your farm, Paul. Not that I do. You just can't get to the TV. Your farm, at the back.
Mate, today I'm in the house doing some cleaning up and stuff because it's been a bit of a tricky week. And then all of a sudden, my dog's like bashing into the glass door. I'm like, "What's going on here? Are you bringing up the art of Zach Tui?"
Keep talking.
Cool. I put that there so you can potentially work with it. I was going to go get it myself otherwise.
You can talk underwater. So
all of a sudden, asshole. Back panel of the fence comes bursting open, and a couple of dogs from the neighbours come piling through. It's bad enough when Barkley's making a racket on the back door, but there was about 4 of them in the backyard today, plus him. Little assholes. Get out of here. We don't want you. Fixed up that fence. They're not coming back. Hopefully we get a cleaner and calmer show going forward.
Yeah, they got to sort it out. Digging. I'm trying to... Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I've got to...
At least in the last VFL game, you can see advanced stats, which includes disposal efficiency. Strange. I was looking at the most recent game that didn't come up, but maybe that's a me thing. Thanks for clarifying. 100 games, 100 days. Don't think you normally get those games for the VFL apparently. Yeah, I guess if I kind of close the loop on Mitch Hardy, I just don't think he's going to make it with the Cats. Maybe with another club.
Do you think he will get a chance at another club though?
Look, his numbers are hard to ignore. But if they're kind of examining the disposal efficiency and those sorts of things as well, then I could see it. I could see him not getting picked up. So, and any club worth their salt is going to take a look at those sorts of numbers as well. The eye test will tell them as well that, oh, geez, bloke's not hitting his targets. He gets a lot of it, but he's butchering it. Like, they've got all the clubs have got lots of scouts. I wasn't able to play my basketball game on Wednesday because I was dealing with hospital visits and all sorts of things. But we had an Essendon scout playing on my basketball team in lieu of my absence the other day. It was like they're everywhere. They are absolutely everywhere. So they don't miss much. They don't miss a beat. But how are you going getting?
Mate, it's a struggle. It's not working. I've got
That's right. Leave it with me. I'll get it going. I can rig that pretty quickly.
I've got it now, but it's just going to take me a minute or two. Can I ask you? There's a couple of players that we haven't really talked about today. Can I ask you a little? Oh, you and I haven't really talked about it too much, but Zach Tui. Is he going to be able to get through another 3 games of footy? There's a lot of love being thrown around for Zach Tui today, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or Daryl Downer or whatever, but it's going to take a lot for him to get up. Now he's gotten the week off clearly, so he'll be fine. Have a week off, come back okay. But can he get through 3 big, grueling, bruising finals, or is just that mental willpower going to get him over the line?
I don't really see any issues for him at all. I think he's been in great form with every game he's played. Now, of course, he's probably getting a bit rich, but many of his games this year, I've been very, very happy with how he's played. And I'm sure there's been many of these weeks where he could have absolutely played multiple games in a row. It's just that they've been managing him, just like they've been managing some of the others. There he is. So,
shout out Sambo.
I think he's a really valuable contributor going into the finals. His clearance numbers have been really high this year because he's kind of playing in a range of different positions and getting right up in the contest. I'm stoked with the season that he's putting together despite being on kind of managed time. And, he's made it abundantly clear too with his little sign-off that he wants to go out with another flag. And we know the sort of fire he plays up with. That he plays with. Why not?
Why can't he? Can he do it again? Let's get your 3-2-1s, and then I'll get Lucas on to.
I don't have any 3-2-1s. Remember, I haven't seen the game yet.
So. That's right. All right. Well, shall I do mine before I get
3 to Jeremy Cameron?
That's hard.
I've gone with the really difficult pick there. 3 to Jeremy Cameron. I'm just going to make some stuff up now beyond that. Let me take a look at some numbers so I can just wing it. 3 to Jeremy Cameron. 2 to Danger because he got 25 disposals and 68% game time. And probably can't ignore Ollie Henry getting 4 goals beyond that as well. So there's my 3-2-1. And I'll come up with a real one for the Hoops Cruise votes later on.
Either moment says Tui looks absolutely knackered in that portrait. I think he's fresher than that. What year is that? Is that from the grand final? Or no, it must have been from something else. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Don't remember that one.
Oh, right, I can picture the moment, but I can't picture the opposition. Was it against Carlton?
Oh yeah, I reckon it was. He slapped
the game against Carlton,
and he really riled them up, didn't he? Haven't they been up and about this week? The Carlton supporters not liking the fact that Tui didn't reference them in his retirement speech. Oh, poor Carlton.
Your place is a bit of a dump. It still kind of is.
Well, maybe if you boo him when he plays against you and you boo him, maybe that doesn't help either. So I don't think we booed Tim Kelly today. I don't think I heard him boo.
Did we clap and cheer for Harley Reid?
I did.
What about Jake Waterman?
I did, and I told everyone around me to not boo him as he was lining up a couple of times. I said he's coming to Geelong next year, so can you please just treat him with the respect that he deserves? It was good to see. I saw some footage of Harley Reid and Waterman getting a tour of the facilities today before the game. Just Tom Stewart showing them around, shaking some hands. I wish
greasing palms, offering blocks of land.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. There's a new development. No one knows about it yet. Buy some land here. You'll 20 times your investment. It'll be great. That has happened.
Jezza said he might carve off a bit of his land just to allow the likes of Christian Petrarca and Jake Waterman and Harley Reid all to come in next year.
Just pull your caravan up and just sleep in the van while the house is getting built. That'll be
Yeah.
fine. It'll work nicely.
Just carve out a wing from Danger's house. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
The
You can have the
mansion.
West Wing. You can stay
House
there for
Danger's
the next few
built.
months while your house is being built. We'll just keep cycle people through.
All right, my 3, 2, 1 before I get Lucas on, and I want to get your opinion before I let you go. So surprise, Sean Manor 3 votes. No, Jeremy Cameron the 3 votes. I'm going to give 2 votes. I'm going to be like Bianca, Jack Henry. I'm going to go the one of the defend. Yeah.
Sorry, Jack Henry or Ollie Henry?
Jack Henry.
Jack.
I'm going to say Jack Henry for the 2 votes. And I'm going to go 1 vote Tanner Bruin through the middle today. Just real tough. I could have given it to 10 different players. I can't wait to see what the Hoopies votes are. I reserved the right to change my I haven't officially put them in the ballot yet. I haven't written them on the piece of paper, folded it up, stuck it in that little slot that we put it in, the virtual little slot. But that is my
Google Doc.
The Google Doc. The Google Sheets, actually.
Google spreadsheets.
Google spreadsheets. Any strong objections to those 3, 2, 1s?
I've got nothing to base it on. So
There you go. Well, there you go.
numerically, they stack up. Well, Jack Henry. Where is Jack Henry there?
Show some love.
Well, she had 14 disposals.
Doesn't matter. You should watch
No,
the game.
that was a good. Like that was a complimentary thing. I haven't seen the game, but like 14 disposals from a key defender when you smack a team by 90 plus points, it's not really a thing. So that reads well with 8 marks.
Thought he was
It's a good
pretty
sign.
good today. Any final thoughts?
No.
Look at Lucas in the chat. Look at him. He's I can't hold him on any longer. You go watch
That's
that
right.
game, mate. Have another 6 beers. Finish your night off.
I didn't bring any back. I should have. For some reason, I'll just put it out there. I've never attended a wedding where someone's loaded up the table with KFC, but there was crispy strips, there was nuggets, there was breast filled. Like there's just a lot there. I was like, what is going on here? It was awesome. Jeez, did I smash a lot of it?
Post game live brought to you by the good people at KFC.
Did somebody say KFC?
Did somebody say KFC? Well, did you bring a bucket home with you? Have you got some?
I didn't. No, I basically nailed a whole bucket myself. So it's time to burn that shit off.
Go for a run before bed.
Oh. Anyway,
All right.
RIP the porcelain later on.
RIP Kiss and Paul. Thanks, Jackie, for that one. Enjoy your night, mate.
Enjoy, everyone. Have a good one. Stay tuned for the reaction sometime tomorrow once I watch the game.
Let him sleep it off first. You and Colin, Jesus, mate, you're gonna have to sleep these big nights. You and sorry, Colin's our producer.
We're doing a bit of a narrative here.
We are. Colin, well, if you don't know,
I'm not talking about Colin. I'm talking about the narrative around me.
Well, you and your little pajamas crying.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that was pissy Paul back then too. Like 15-year-old Paul just went and smashed a couple 6-packs to get over the trauma of Nick Davis.
Yeah. We'll have to.
And
we'll
also,
have to,
go on. Sorry.
I was going to say we'll have to do a rewatch of that last quarter, just a 30-minute rewatch, and we'll just have to react to it. And
I can't react the same now. Nick Davis and I are mates like this.
I'll react, and yeah, you can steer me through it.
I will just say as I jump out now, also a big shout out to everyone who's kind of been jumping in and throwing a bit of support or their thoughts. Yeah. The conversation around a range of the videos lately. I've been trying to get as many. I mean, my output was kind of neutered a little bit this week, but a lot of support, a lot of thoughts, a lot of comments in a lot of the videos I've been putting out there, whether it's the Christian Petrarca one, which obviously was kind of me getting a bit flippant with the whole thing, but trying to engage in a proper conversation about it. There's a range of different things that I've been trying to do lately, and it's been nice to see people jumping in, tossing a like, commenting, sharing it around. The numbers have been kind of tracking really well for us. It's been awesome. So thank you very much to everyone who's kind of been tuning in as well.
And Paul, I do take the piss out of you a little bit sometimes, but I just want to
as well. You should.
I just want to say your work has been exemplary lately. Those 10 to 12 minute videos that you're doing, it's fantastic, and I think it's what the channel needed. And if you haven't, if you're on the chat, if you haven't been watching them, check them out. It's I usually stick them on while I'm driving home from work or to work, and it gets me through the little trip home. So I appreciate the time and effort and energy that goes into those, Paul. yeah, I know the rest of the crew does as well.
Yeah, lots of time, effort, and energy.
Oh no, you
Try and come in with a coherent thought. I draw on resources about the status of Christian Petrarca and those sorts of things. It's nice having a little network where I can get little nuggets of information, then I can kind of put my own little lens across the top of it. So,
all right, it's time to get Corey Worthington on.
It is too.
Enjoy your night, Paul.
All right, enjoy, everyone.
See you, buddy. There he goes. I've disconnected him. All right, Corey Worthington's been waiting patiently. Here he is. How's party mode going? He's got his mic. Have you got the mute on again? Corey, how many vodkas have you had tonight?
No drink, just a Pepsi. I don't actually drink unless it's a special occasion, like Geelong winning a grand final. But even then, when they won it 2 years ago, I still didn't drink. So very rarely.
Not like Paul, who loves getting on it.
Yes, no, not no smoking and very, very rarely drinking. So that's just me. First half I was in party mode because I thought we'd win by 150 points. I thought, geez, how good was this? West Coast effort was unbelievable. I loved how they played. They were fantastic, West Coast, in that first half. They just kept letting us kick goals. And then second half, really, we got owned in that second half. For some reason, we kept mucking around with Cameron. I understand, 10 is it's a big deal. It's like probably scoring 100 in the cricket. But I just think we just mucked around with it too much in the second half. West Coast kicked some goals. And I just felt that it was just an opportunity we let slip. I just don't want Port losing by 15 points and then saying, well, geez, if we would have kicked a couple of more goals. But we'll wait and see. I did pick Fremantle in this game. I did pick them. I think they will win. Whether if they win by 30 or not, I don't think so. I had them winning by 15 to 20. But yeah, those third quarters are a problem for us for some reason. Because West Coast had 10 scoring shots in that third. 10. So that really, really surprised me.
4 goals.
Look it up, Ben. Could be wrong.
5 goals. 5 goals, 6.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, that was extremely concerning because that's what St Kilda did to us. West Coast were gone; they were never going to win that game after that half. But 10 goals and 10 scoring shots in the third quarter. That was really, really disappointing. I just felt we just mucked around with it too much. Jack Henry's one-on-one contest, especially against Darling and Reid, he was as useless as standing in the middle of the ocean next to Kate Winslet. He was absolutely pathetic. Out-muscled by Jack Darling twice and Harley Reid. Couldn't take a one-on-one contest. Very just disappointed with that. Stanley, I thought Stanley had a good game. I thought that was one of his best games in a couple of years. He's in my votes tonight, Stanley.
Okay.
Cameron could have kicked 10, but the bigger picture was percentage. I just think they try to stat pad him too much, in my opinion. Henry could have kicked 10 himself. He had about 8 scoring shots. So opportunities were missed. We did what we had to do, just win, see what happens. But after that first half, when you're up by 100 points, then to win by 96, it's a missed opportunity, especially if Port cough up, which I think they will after a showdown. Their history after showdowns, Port Adelaide, is not very good. They do have letdowns. I think they've lost something like 4 of the last 6 after their showdowns.
Okay.
So they do have a low. So that's why another reason why I did pick Fremantle. But I just don't want to be in a position again where we could have just look what Hawthorn did today against North Melbourne in that last quarter. They kicked 10 goals. They were ruthless, absolute ruthless. They already made finals in the first quarter. They didn't have to kick 10 goals in the last quarter. They could have put the foot off the gas, sub some players off, rest them. They didn't want to do that. We're Hawthorn, we don't do that. And they kicked 10 goals in the last quarter. Why couldn't we do that? Why couldn't we be ruthless? And all I hear is the fan base complaining about injuries. Well, what if he gets injuries? Or what? Well, who cares? I don't care. I care about getting my team in the best position to making a grand final or winning the grand final. And today was just a missed opportunity because we weren't ruthless enough. We just wanted to muck the ball, give Jeremy Cameron his 10 goals. Hawthorn had 4 or 5 players on 3 goals today. Chol, the Wizard. I think Gunston kicked 3. Dylan Moore kicked 3. Yeah. So they didn't care. So why couldn't we have done that today? I got you win, that's all right, fair enough, good. But we weren't ruthless today. I was hoping, you know what, we come out, let's win by 150. Let's do what Hawthorn did, make the statement. Don't need to, but just make it. And we missed that opportunity. And I was just, a little bit annoyed with that because West Coast, I think they outscored us in that second half anyway. But that again, that third quarter, we just got outplayed, just completely outplayed in that third quarter. So the concern is still there. Listening all night, you know, who do you rather play? I'm gobsmacked. People want to play Sydney. I think if we played Sydney, I'd rather play Port Adelaide. I know we haven't got a good record against Port Adelaide in finals. We've lost the last 2. But Port Adelaide in finals are a basket case. So look, they've blown it against Richmond. They've blown it against the Western Bulldogs. They've had bad home losses in recent times. And Sydney, well, they're up by 50 points against the Crows. So they've found their form. They kicked 6 goals in that first quarter. So it looks like they've fixed their first quarter starts. I don't think we'll get within 30 points of Sydney if it's played in Sydney in that first week. So because you can't trust the Geelong Football Club to play 4 quarters, and that's what happened today. They just didn't want to play 4 quarters because they mucked around with it. They wanted to stat pad Jeremy Cameron, which from his perspective is fine. No problem with that. I think Kerno did it last year against West Coast. So that's fine, but the bigger issue was percentage, and we missed out on it. And again, I don't want to be here for the 3rd time saying we had one hand on top 2, but because we put the foot off the gas, we don't get it. So that's the real concerning with this team. I just cannot trust them to play 4 quarters. And if Sydney play 4 quarters, I think we're in all sorts of trouble. All sorts. They found their form. They found the form last week against Essendon, and they found their form today against Sydney. So I certainly, 2 teams I don't want to play. I don't want to meet in the finals. One is Sydney, and the other one's Hawthorn. Now I know Paul said that they've been overrated, but they're the team in form in the AFL. So, and I think they can do huge. I think they can probably win 2 finals. 2. So I think they're going to be a huge threat. I think they're probably a couple of years from returning to a grand final. I don't get the same 2016 vibes as I did against the Bulldogs when they won it. I don't think they're there yet because Bulldogs were around the mark in 2015, around there 2014, where Hawthorn just came from nowhere. But I think the form that they're in, they can cause a lot of damage, and they do play 4 quarters. So I just they're the 2 I just don't like. I like GWS and Sydney because it's not in Geelong, because of the record they have against us in Geelong. I actually don't remember the last time we did play GWS in Sydney. I think it was years ago.
I can't remember now.
Yeah, I don't remember. So yeah, a bit of a long time. So I'd rather play them in Sydney than Sydney in Sydney, and I'd rather play Port and Adelaide. So it just amazes me how people want Sydney in Sydney. A, when they've found their form, looks like they've got their form back, and B, we can't play 4 quarters. We just can't be trusted. Like
who's the best chance? You know, there's still a remote possibility that we could play. The GWS will have a big win against the Dogs. Will overtake us, finish second on the ladder, and we'll finish third, and we'll be playing GWS up at Showgrounds, whatever that stadium is, the NG Stadium, whatever. Do you think we've got a better chance against them or Port or Sydney?
Out of those three, I'd rather, in this particular order, Port in a prelim in Adelaide, than the Giants in Sydney.
Yep.
Sydney is what I want to avoid. If you told me that Geelong are going to play Sydney in Melbourne, I'll buy that. I'll happily pick Geelong, but not in Sydney, where I think they fixed their slow starts, and where if you drop off in one quarter of their home ground, their home crowd, they'll jump right over you like they did against us in the middle of the year. We were up by 30 points. We had that bad quarter, and they jumped all over us. So they're well then capable of doing that. So I think Port, I don't see Port, like I said, they're known as a bit of a chokers in the finals as well. They lost to the Bulldogs. They lost to Richmond in the prelims. So they're not as good at home in finals as one believes. And GWS, well, last time GWS had a prelim final in GWS, where the hell it is, they lost to the Bulldogs. So, and Sydney recently have been strong in prelim finals at home, but Collingwood in that epic game cup when they played us in the grand final. So I don't mind playing Sydney as long as it's in Melbourne. I don't want to play Sydney anywhere near Sydney, because I not only think we'll lose, I think we'll lose by 30, 40 points. And I know that's not what everyone wants to hear, but I think that's the truth, because you cannot trust this team playing 4 quarters. You have one bad quarter.
Let's flip it though, mate, because there's a question there from 100 games, 100 days. Just suspend that sort of thought for a moment, but just flip it. What if we beat Sydney in that first final?
If we beat Sydney and Sydney will make the grand final.
You think Sydney still gets to the grand final? They have to do it probably through a Port Adelaide or probably a Sydney Derby. I think that's what they call it these days. Sydney, is that right? Sydney Derby, yeah.
Yeah, the Battle of the Bridge.
Oof,
yeah. The Q clash and the Battle of the Bridge. Q clash for Brisbane and Gold Coast. Battle of the Bridge. I think they can come up with a better name than that. But I think Sydney still could, because even if they do play against the Giants, they'll still be in Sydney, not their home ground, but still be in Sydney. They don't have to travel.
That's true.
Yeah. But most likely, if we did beat Sydney, we probably would play either Sydney or Giants in the grand final. I can't say Port because of the same reasons, because they're repeat offenders of bottling prelim finals. So there's a good chance that we could play Sydney grand final if we win. Now, if we win that first final, there's no way I'm going against Geelong in the prelim. There's no matter who we play, there's no chance I'm going against Geelong in the grand final, no matter who we play. But it's just the first hurdle, which looks like Sydney. Mind you, I did, as I said, I picked Fremantle, and I did pick the Bulldogs. Not with any certainty with that one, but I still picked them. So we could finish third, and we play Port Adelaide and Adelaide. So I think that's probably a more probability, playing Port in the first week than Sydney and Sydney.
Yeah, I think you'll get a whole bunch of Geelong supporters on a convoy driving over the highway in about 2 weeks' time, trying to get a ticket to that game, and it's going to be a horrible game for any Geelong supporter, because those Port fans are feral.
The missing teeth, ferals, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look, whoever we play though, it's going to be. I just don't want to. GWS doesn't thrill me that much. You know, the idea of playing them in a final, it doesn't get me up and about. Playing them at the MCG, there's no history there, right? I mean, yeah, probably the only thing you could say about GWS and Geelong is that we owe them 1 or 2 because they've beaten us at our home ground a few times. So it'd be nice to play them. If we win the first final against Sydney, Geelong becomes the premiership favourite. I'm saying right. We are. Yeah. If we win the first final, it doesn't matter where we win it. If we win that first final, it's MCG all the way, baby, from then on.
Well, I Absolutely. I had a theory. I think that theory's gone now because Essendon's getting done. But I was hoping Brisbane would lose, and then Western Bulldogs win. That means there'd be 2 finals at the MCG, and we'd play our qualifying final at home because of the contracts. But that's most likely not going to happen because Bulldogs and Hawthorn probably finish 5th and 6th. They get home finals. But I think, Essendon Brisbane's going to stop that. So that's a little bit of a downer. So I had that theory going in the back of my mind. Mind you, I did tip Brisbane to win comfortably. But either way, if there'd be only one team I would fear in the grand final, that's Hawthorn. Because if Hawthorn got there, that means that they've won twice away from home, whether being in Sydney or Adelaide. And then they come back to the MCG. That would scare me a little bit out of all the other teams. But like I said, I don't feel they're the Bulldogs of 2016 because they've been out. Well, they started 1 and 6. Don't forget that. So they've literally came from absolutely bottom, rock bottom. So Sam, as much as I hate to give him credit, Sam Mitchell's done a hell of a job, and probably most likely going to win Coach of the Year. So that would be one team I would not like to play. So if there was a Port, if we were into the grand final and we played the winner of Port and Hawthorn, I'd rather Port. I'd rather Brisbane. Again, I'd rather Sydney. I'd rather GWS. Not Hawthorn. I think that one would be a little bit, that would frighten me. We do owe Hawthorn because we can forget about that grand final we lost to them. So in a way, that would be probably one positive thing. But yeah, that I don't really want to play them because they'll have the mentality of nothing to lose because no one in the hell picked them to even be near the finals, let alone playing in them. I didn't actually have. I had Geelong. I didn't have Geelong in the top 4 myself. I had Geelong around about, at best, 7th, 8th. So they've exceeded. Whether they go out in the first week, whether they lose the first week, I don't want them losing in straight sets. I still have them winning a final because that final has still got to be played at the MCG. But then again, we could play Hawthorn in that semi. So that I think we're in Hawthorn's draw. I think that's what Paul said, didn't he? Would play them in a knockout final.
I think that's what he was saying. Yeah, I think it's probably where.
Yeah.
I don't think we can play him in a second chance final.
Yeah. So again with that one, love to play Fremantle in a grand final against them. If they make it, I don't think anyone's considered that because I think we'll towel them up. But again, that's probably the low percentage, no interest in that one. But that would be probably the most easiest game out of the lot, playing Fremantle in a grand final, because we actually owe them from that qualifying final in Geelong, which is probably ruined our chances that year.
Let me ask you 2 things because I'll start winding the show. I want to know the pathway to the premiership. So who we're playing in the first week, prelim, and then the grand final. And don't worry, you don't have to have the ladder predictor in front of you or anything like that, but just sort of wing it a little bit, and then finish off with your 3-2-1s. But how do we get to the grand final? We can say that now, like we're not in the grand final, but we're in the finals. We're in a qualifying final. How do we get there? How's the story of September going to be remembered? Most
likely beating the 2024 favourites, which was the Sydney Swans. Maybe even beating them twice in the same year, in the same finals.
Wow.
Or either way, we have to win away to win the premiership. We have to win away, either way, whether it's Sydney or Port, GWS. So there's no escaping that unless Port get destroyed. GWS lose. Which again, I think Fremantle will win. Again, that also depends on the Carlton game because the Carlton game starts earlier.
That's huge.
So if Carlton, if Carlton lose, Fremantle surely would be up for that, saying this is in our front of our home fans. This is our elimination final in front of our home fans.
Yep.
What more do you want? Now, will it be enough to beat Port by 30 points? Maybe not. But I think Bulldogs most likely will beat GWS. It's tough playing up at Mars. First of all, you have to be on Mars to actually even consider playing down there. So that name lives up to the hype on Mars. God knows why the Western Bulldogs want to sell home games there. That'll be like Geelong trying to go to bloody Raveley. Just doesn't make sense, or Bendigo. Just doesn't make sense. But that's their problem. So if they keep winning there, I guess it works. But 3, 2, 1. 3 votes. As in, 3 votes. Obviously, Cameron. 2 votes. I'm going to give a lot of love to Stanley. He gets the 2 votes. I think he deserves it. Yeah, like I said, he had his best game in 2 years. And the 1 vote. He's lucky he gets this, but he did kick 4 goals. That's Ollie Henry. Could have kicked more. Could have kicked, like I said, could have kicked 10. Last year he wasn't missing those. He was a bit of a dead-eye dick, Ollie Henry, when he was like 40 out, 30 out. So what I liked about his game, his jumping was there. When he jumped, he actually marked the ball this time. But yeah, his finishing was a bit off. I'm just going to go through quickly. I like Neil's game. Dangerfield dropped a lot of marks inside the 50. Had a lot of those grubs and fumbly, but I liked his game. Didn't like Jack Henry's game. Yeah, that
he does
motion.
like he's dancing or la la la. Just clunk it like Shannon Neal does these days.
I wouldn't recommend doing that in a cricket game, Paddy, with the ball near your face. Don't play cricket in the off season. And please don't do that.
Second slip.
I thought Jack Henry, I was very disappointed. He lost a lot of one-on-ones to Darling and Reid. Bowes, I thought was pretty good. Tom Stewart, probably the first game in a while he doesn't get votes. But I think that was just precaution. Don't see any problem there. What he did get out of it was a nice massage. Jeez, I think that's the only thing they were doing him the first half was massaging that leg. So they were getting him right for the first week of the finals. Stanley, like I said, 2 votes. He had his best game. Stengel, I thought, expected more from Stengel this game. I thought this could have been a game where he could have kicked 3-4 goals. I think close. He's had a couple of quiet weeks. So he's a little bit out of form, Closey. So bit of a concern, but Ollie Henry found form. So I think it was a good win by Geelong, but I just wish we didn't have. I just wish we were ruthless, like Hawthorn were to North Melbourne, where they kicked 10 goals in the last quarter.
You know what I'd love? I'd love for you to come on after Geelong wins by 150 points and still find a reason to complain. A couple of people in the chat love what you're doing. A couple of people, I have to say, are like, shut him up. But people, if you're watching this or you're in the chat, I get him on because I like all the different viewpoints on this show. So I don't want everyone to come on and just be super, super positive. I don't want people to be all negative all the time. I just want a bit of a mix of everyone. We're all different at Geelong. So
I'll tell you what. The people in the chat should look at my Twitter feed and my private messages. I get messages constantly either saying, "Oh, I love how you're the voice of reason," or "B, you're a complete dickhead. Stay off the show."
You're polarized. So you definitely you don't sit on the fence. That's for sure.
I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. So that's who I am as a person. I try not to go overboard. I lost the plot last week, which is not very good enough. Luckily, Bianca didn't have to see that and other kids didn't have to see that. But no, I just try to see the best out of everything, or if there's something that needs to be addressed, I like addressing it. But it's the way I am. I say what I say. I mean what I say. But anyway, Ben, thanks for having me on, and I'll
you go.
next week. Well, there won't be a next week, so people, you get your wish. You don't hear from me for a week. But the first final, I'm sure I'll be blowing a gasket, or we could win by 100 points against Sydney, and I'll try not to be negative. But no, thank you for having me on as always, Ben, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Enjoy the street party. See you, Corey. I mean, Lucas. He's gone. That's post-game live, everyone. 2.5 hours. Just clicked over. I hope you enjoyed the win today. I hope you enjoyed the chat after the game with fellow Cats fans, enjoying the spoils of a massive victory. It doesn't happen very often. I said to my kids today, enjoy this. We may not get 100-point wins, was 93, but we may not get these massive wins every year. You might come to the footy and have a few losses in years to come, but enjoy it while you can. Hopefully you saw the game today. Hopefully you got to the game if you're down this way, and you had a good old time. As I said, hopefully you've enjoyed the show tonight. We will be back, actually. We are back, even though the men's team have got the week off. We are back next, whenever the female AFLW team plays. We'll be post-game live after the Cats play Melbourne. So make sure you pop in, say hi on that one. I'd love a couple of guests on that one. It'll be myself and one of the other members of the Hoops crew co-hosting that show. So we definitely want to get some people on. If you can find the time to jump on that as well and cheer the girls on hopefully after a win against Melbourne, that'll be fantastic. All right, now I'm going to play us out with a bit of girl party B up the Catters, like I promised. So hope you'll enjoy this one. And because there was a bit of love for Chewy today, I'm going to put him up on the screen here. So anyway, that's me done. Thank you so much. I love the energy in the chat tonight. It was great. It was fantastic. It's what makes this show great, I reckon. Everyone that came on tonight, thank you very much for coming on. If you want to get on the show, we'll always post a link in the chat, usually pretty early on, if not before the show starts. We do want to see some. We didn't have any debuts tonight. Interesting. Actually, we did. Declan. So congratulations to Declan for making your debut on the show. If you want to get on the show, though, please don't be afraid. I'm just a guy sitting in my garage with the camera on. Let's just have a chat. It's no big deal. Don't worry about the 1,000 people watching. Sorry, I've probably scared you off already. Anyway, go Cats. We'll see you on the next one, everyone. And I'm going to play us out with a bit of Girl Party B up the Catters.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all. We are Geelong, we're always on the ball.